We welcome you to downtown Houston on a Sunday afternoon. The Houston Astros play the middle series of a 9-game homestand. They took 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay to start the homestand, and now they have split the first 2 games with the Kansas City Royals. Today, the Astros start play 3.5 games in front of the AL West over the Seattle Mariners. The Royals come in 30 games under 500 at 23-53. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Sunday afternoon of baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, a chance for the second straight series for the Astros to take 2 out of 3.
And that's all they want to do. We heard them talking about it last year. It led to a World Series championship. If they can win every series from here on out, they're going to be in great shape.
Astros swept the Royals up in Kansas City. Kansas City's been a lot tougher in this series. They almost took the first 2 games. The Astros had to come from behind last night.
Yeah, the Astros have a tough time here against Kansas City overall since seeing them. But this may be the Astros version of This Is Us. This is how they play at Minute Maid Park. It is a lot of small ball. They do have the potential to overwhelm guys, but if they get runners on base, usually good things happen. I think that's the focus right now, is finding a way to get on base, whether it be the walk or just find an opening in that infield to sneak a couple of base hits through and allow somebody later in that lineup to do damage. Last night, Carlos Correa with a big sac fly. Here, Evan Gattis driving in a run to extend this ball game into extras. And stop me if you've seen this before. Alex Bregman finds a way to get on base, and a couple of errors lead to an extra 90 feet for the Houston Astros. And then, oh yeah, Carlos Correa steps up and smashes one to the opposite field gap for a guaranteed base hit and game-winning RBI.
Kind of taking a page out of the Royals book, keeping the ball in play last night. No double plays for the Houston Astros in a 12-inning 4-3 walk-off victory last night. Garrett Cole on the mound for the Astros. He did not pitch against Kansas City the first time these 2 teams met up at Kauffman Stadium. We'll have more on Garrett as we roll on a Sunday afternoon. No hidden fees. That's transparency. By Shoppish John Deere, your local John Deere dealer with 8 area locations. And by Champion Energy Services, the exclusive electricity provider of the Houston Astros. Today's a baseball basics, keeping score. Jeff Blum's going to help us out. He's got a blank canvas right now that will be filled out during the course of today's game. Kansas City, a 3-game set at Kauffman Stadium, and now the Royals and Astros have split the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Today is a Sunday, which is scorekeeping basics. We're going to teach you today about scoring the game. We did this once last year as well. If you have any questions about keeping score, you can send your tweets to @Blummer27, @KevinEsh1, @ATT Sportsnet SW. We both have our own ways of scoring. There's some basics that are constant throughout. And you're going to kind of teach people throughout the course of the game as you go through your scorecard.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, Todd has a bigger scorebook, different squares than I do. Mine's just basically blank, and I'll write stuff in. So it doesn't matter. Do it how you want to do it. Do it how you know you're going to remember the game. You're basically taking down notes and history on what's happening in the game. So a lot of it for us is what do we write down and how do we remember it and recall it when we need the numbers later in the game.
A lot of time on Sundays we do these baseball basics, try and teach you the nuances of the game. And today, Blummer, what are your keys for scoring a game?
Number one is know the position numbers, because when you're taking score, you'll hear 6-4-3, which means it's a shortstop to the second baseman to the first baseman. And a big one for me is always making sure that you mark the end of the inning. That if Mike Moustakas makes the 3rd out, I want to make sure that I scribble out the square under Lucas Duda and know that he's going to lead off the next inning. And the 3rd one is, this is just a personal note of mine. When there is a strikeout, I want to know what pitch struck out that hitter. So I will make a note next to whether or not it's a looking K or a strikeout K. I'll make a note to tell me what pitch that they were struck out on.
Each position on the field has its individual number, starting with the pitcher at 1, and then you go on through with the catcher 2.
And I know it gets a little messy sometimes when we see the shifts, but the standard scoring is the first baseman, second baseman, then you go across the diamond to third. Shortstop is that 6th person on the infield, and then around the outfield, left to center to right field. It's important to remember those. You can tell where you flew the ball out to, where the pop-up was, or where that ground ball and assist went.
Blummer's scorecard looks pretty clean right now. It'll get a little dirtier as the night goes on, as he will fill in all those 1 through 9 innings. And last night it was actually 12 innings, but he's got his pertinent numbers there, so he is ready to go with Rosell Herrera leading off for the Kansas City Royals in that top spot and playing right field.
Yep, and I've got my notes on Garrett Cole. It'll have his season numbers on there for me on my stat sheet. It'll also have his last start listed. And last time he was out there, he was pitching against the Tampa Bay Rays. He only gave up 3 hits, but interestingly enough, walked 5 guys, which led to 4 earned runs. But on the season, it's been a phenomenal year for Garrett Cole. 102/3 innings pitched and 138 strikeouts. An opponent average is extremely low. He has been great on the season.
It was unusual with those walks. We may not see that for a long time, as here's the lineup he will face. You may have seen it on Blum's card just a moment ago with Herrera leading off, followed by 3 lefties in a row. Alex Gordon, Mike Moustakas, and Lucas Duda. Hunter Dozier is the first baseman hitting 5th. Alcides Escobar back at shortstop. Abraham Almonte in center. Drew Butera gets a rare start behind the plate. And Alberto Mondesi is the second baseman hitting 9th. Here's some scoring abbreviations for you. K for a strikeout. You can go backwards, forwards. Some people, in my case, I wrote KS for swinging, KC for called. Walk is BB, single 1B, double 2B, triple 3B, and the home run is HR. Knee for an error, sack for sacrifice, and FC for fielder's choice. Again, there are no bad questions today on how to keep score. Some of you have never kept score at a baseball game before, so whatever you need to know, just tweet us in your questions. Blummer27, Kevin Esch 1, or at ATT Sportsnet SW. Speaking of Kevin Eschenfelder, he'll be joined by a guest later on in this broadcast, as we will have 9-year-old Maddox with Kevin learning how to keep score along with you at home. Rosell Herrera leads things off today and takes a couple of quick strikes from Garrett Cole. Herrera, star of the game on Friday night, robbed Alex Bregman of a potential home run and then tripled in the game's only run of the night. Came in the top half of the 9th inning in a 1-0 victory. Swing and a miss. Cole starts this game off with a strikeout. Starting defense presented by Xfinity. You've got Josh Reddick out there in right field. He's the number 9 position. George Springer in center is the 8. Tony Kemp in left field. Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa normally on the left side. Correa moves over in the ship. Marwin Gonzalez plays second today. Jose Altuve has a DH day. Yuli Gurriel at first base and Max Stassi behind the plate. And the catcher's position is number 2. Early on, you have a strikeout of Herrera, so you mark that down with the pitch. And that's kind of your thing, so you'll remember the next time Herrera bats how he was struck out the first time.
Yeah, it was swinging. So when I write in my scorecard, I'll write a normal K, but I'll put an SL for slider. You'll be able to check it out right here. There's the swinging strike, and then up in that corner, I'll put SL for slider. That'll remind me what he struck him out on. If it's a looking strikeout, I do the backwards K. And it looks like that slider is going to be an effective pitch for Garrett Cole this afternoon.
You mentioned the fact that he walked 5. He walked the bases loaded to consecutive batters. I don't know if we're going to see that again in his career. It's just one of those one-off starts for him. It seemed like all the walks were on 3-2 count, so it wasn't like he was completely out of the zone, but it was an atypical start for Garrett Cole.
Well, especially since we've been watching him as an Astro. We didn't watch too much of him as a Pirate. We knew he was good, but since being an Astro, we've been spoiled with the way he's gone out there and attacked the zone.
Got ahead of Herrera 0-2. Now he's ahead of Alex Gordon 1-2. Cole making his normal start in the rotation. At one point earlier in the week, A.J. Hinch had flipped Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. But Cole pitching today, and Verlander will start the series pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow. Jay Happ will go against Justin Verlander tomorrow with our 6:30 pregame. Garrett makes start number 16 on the season. He's currently 3rd in the American League in strikeouts. He's 1 behind his college teammate Trevor Bauer, and he's a few more behind the league leader Chris Sale, who's pitching today for the Red Sox. 2-2 the count to Alex Gordon. Astros losing the opener 1-0, winning last night 4-3. And Gordon draws a walk after getting ahead. Garrett Cole loses Gordon, and that's the first walk and the first base runner.
This is really similar to what TK's scorecard looks like. He does a better job of keeping the counts, but that was a walk on 3-2 counts. So there he is. He's on first base via the walk. We'll keep track of that later. Hopefully he doesn't move much further, and hopefully we get a double play ball right here. Those are fun to write down.
Those are always good. And it's a little different with the Astros shifting all the time. We can talk about that as the game goes along. Because sometimes I make a note. If Correa, for example, makes the play here against Mike Moustakas, I make a note that he was actually on the right side of the infield. Even if he does make the play, it's a 6-3, but it's in the second base position.
And we do see some of the rare 6-5-3 double plays too.
We do get those occasionally. Mike Moustakas takes a strike. It's 1-1.
It's highly uncommon.
Strikeout and a walk to start this game. Moustakas tries to hold up, but he goes around. Not many at bats for these Royals against Garrett Cole.
Slider's a good pitch right now. Moustakas trying to charge out there and get it on our Mattress Firm Supermo. You can see he clearly went, but also that good action down and in.
In this lineup today, only Moustakas and Escobar with 3 at bats apiece, and then Lucas Duda has seen him a dozen times. Nobody else in this lineup has faced Garrett Cole. Garrett's only pitched against Kansas City once in his career. Came 3 years ago on July 21st. And a second straight full count.
Fastball command early for Garrett Cole, an issue.
Seemed to come and go in that last start against the Rays. Runner on the move, and the pitch is fouled off of Stassi, and Gordon will head back to first.
Good 3-2 pitch away.
98-mile-an-hour fastball early on in this game. Cole showing a little uptick in the velocity. Normally he's around 96 early in the game. Looking for the strikeout here against Moustakas. There goes Gordon again, and again Moustakas fouls one away. Runner on the move, and a second consecutive walk for Garrett Cole. A few walks last start and 2 here in the first inning today.
And on the fastball again. We've saw in that last start Garrett Cole taking a couple of those walks behind the mound, trying to convince himself that he can get back in the zone with that fastball. Might be some mental keys in there trying to find that release point, but it was also in that last start early in the game he was struggling a little bit. It felt like around that 3rd, 4th inning he figured it out, started to shut the Tampa Bay Rays down and kind of smooth himself into that 7th inning range. So maybe trying to find it quickly out of the bullpen.
Yeah, you're right about that. He walked 1 in the 1st and then 3 more in the 3rd last start, and didn't walk a batter until the 7th inning. Those first 4 walks last start all were on 3-2 counts. And he has fallen behind Lucas Duda here 2-0. Gurriel, the first baseman, is the 3 position. Correa at shortstop, the 6 position. Duda's had success against Garrett Cole as Cole throws one by him at 97. Lucas, a member of the Mets prior to joining Tampa Bay last year. Cole, his career with the Pirates prior to this season. Duda has faced him 12 times, has 3 home runs against Garrett Cole on 5 hits.
And with runners on first and second, a ground ball obviously would get Garrett Cole out of this situation. But we've also talked a lot about how he's gotten off the two-seam fastball since coming over from Pittsburgh and pitching heavy with that four-seam fastball. And you've kind of seen a flip in the ground ball percentage and the fly ball percentage. A four-seam fastball is typically a pitch that flattens out and can kind of ride up in the zone a little bit, leading to a lot more fly ball outs. So about a 10% drop in that ground ball percentage for Garrett Cole between last season and this season.
There's a strike at 98. It's 3-2.
And again, you're in a 3-1 count and you're looking fastball against Garrett Cole, and he promptly comes at you with 98 miles an hour painted on that inside corner on our MD Anderson strike zone. That's not easy to do. And even if you're looking for it, it's tough to turn around 98 on the inner third.
Pretty big pitch here early on in this game. 2 runners on, and a 3-2 pitch is fouled away.
Good pitch in the same location, trying to get it by him, but Duda did a good job of fouling that off. He was ready that time. You dial it up, but you don't anticipate 98 on the inner third until you see it. Then you've really got to readjust. Could open up a fastball away.
On the season, Garrett has walked 30 in 100 2/3 innings. It's not like he's had an issue with walks throughout the season. It's just been more recent. The 5 walks started now. A couple of walks in the first inning and 3-2 to Duda. Swing and a miss. Gets him at 99 on the outside corner. He swung through it. And Cole picks up a big strikeout.
Yeah, might have been a little bit of angst behind that fastball. He let this one eat. That's that fastball away. He got him thinking inside, and you could see Duda in the pitch before trying to pull the hands in. It's tough to defend both sides of the plate at 98 plus. And we've got a strikeout, so in my scorebook, I'll write it like this, and then I'll put an F and what should look like a B in the upper right-hand corner for fastball.
Here's Hunter Dozier. That's a called strike. Not many starters throw 100. We have seen Garrett Cole reach 100 miles an hour this year. Early in this game, we've seen a couple of 98s and a 99 for the strikeout of Duda. Dozier had the big home run for Kansas City yesterday, a 3-run shot against Lance McCullers, the only runs the Royals would score in that contest. But now Garrett ahead 0-2 and can see his way out of this little bit of a struggle in the first inning with a couple of walks. '30th pitch of the inning upcoming. Gordon on the move. It's a fastball high. Gordon takes third.
I think that's a good pitch. In that 0-2 count, we always hear about pitchers wanting to waste, but I think, you know, Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and you'd like to see Lance McCullers do it a little more in those 0-2 counts, is kind of be a little more enticing with some of those pitches. And the pitch previous to get to that second strike was a fastball up in the zone. Dozier chased, but Dozier did a good job this time laying off it. So now Garrett Cole has the option to go with that slider down or maybe try and chase him a fastball up in the zone.
Now Moustakas takes off and he will take second base. So back-to-back steals on consecutive pitches. Gordon takes third, his 4th steal, and Moustakas takes second, his 3rd. Saw him go up the ladder with the first 3 pitches on our MD Anderson strike zone, and then that slider down and away. Another 99-mile-an-hour fastball fouled away.
The average fastball of Garrett Cole at 96 miles an hour, but when he gets to 99, it doesn't look like he really has to change anything in his delivery to get that extra 3 miles an hour. Really don't see him tense up or muscle up.
Line drive, backhand catch by Alex Bregman to end the inning. Couple of walks, couple of men left on base. We head to the bottom half of the first. against the right-hander Jason Hamill. George Springer leads off in center field, followed by Alex Bregman. Jose Altuve gets a DH day. Carlos Correa bats in the cleanup spot. Yuli Gurriel at first. Josh Reddick in right field. Marwin Gonzalez at second. Max Stassi, the catcher, and Tony Kemp plays left field and bats ninth.
Jason Hamill going for the Kansas City Royals. He's a big kid, 6'6", going out there. He's thrown 90 in the third innings this season. Not a lot of strikeouts, gotten heavy on the two-seam fastball, trying to create more ground balls. See that 290 batting average against is high, but usually gets out of it with some ground ball double plays.
A lot of first pitch strikes, although he misses here to George Springer for ball one. Springer starts the day batting .272. Looking for his first hit in this series. George is in the midst of a 3-for-35 stretch right now. Had that average up to about .295 at the end of the Texas series on that recent road trip. But since then has seen it dip down 23 points. George still leads the team in home runs with 15, and he's in the top 5 in the league in runs scored with 57. 106 hits allowed on the season by Jason Hamill, and that's the most in Major League Baseball. His last 4 starts, he has seen the opposition with 9, 7, 8, and 7 base hits against him. And he's behind in the count to Springer, 3-1. Homer mentioned the heavy use of the two-seam fastball. It does not strike out hitters like he did earlier in his career. Hamill, 35-year-old, makes the 296th start of his career. And he loses the first batter he faces. George Springer draws a walk to lead off the bottom half of the first inning. Walks got Hamill a little bit last start as he walked 4 against the Rangers in 5 2/3. Rangers sweep that series in Kansas City. Rangers are playing some good baseball right now. They've won 7 in a row coming into today. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman 1 for 9 in this series. None of the Astros have very good numbers against Hamill in his career. He's been good against the Astros, helping them to a .204 opponent's average in his previous 8 starts against Houston. Bregman misses the fastball there. It's 1-1. Those rare swings by Alex where he loses his balance. He was trying to unload on that pitch.
Yeah, he was trying to go train tracks, which I appreciate because he actually was probably looking for the fastball, got it, let it go. Almost swung that mustache right off his top lip.
Yeah, the mustache is growing in, huh?
I heard Sparky reference Nacho Libre on his radio broadcast yesterday talking about it.
In the air, shallow center. Back goes the second baseman Mondesi, and he makes the play for out number 1.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. Terry Poole at the plate. He also owns 1,357 hits as far as Astros all-time hit leaders are concerned. That ties him with the guy coming up right now, reigning MVP Jose Altuve. One more hit will pass him, and then he'll set his eyes on Bob Watson at 1,448. But always good to pull up some of the old video of Terry Poole, raking left-handed.
Altuve has 44 of those hits in his last 27 games, batting .427 during that stretch. Terry Poole had a nice career. Spent his first 14 seasons with the Houston Astros and wrapped up his career with a brief stint with the Kansas City Royals in 1991. Career .280 hitter was the Canadian Terry Poole with over 200 stolen bases. Altuve misses the slider from Hamill. It's 0-1. cool look today for the Astros, especially with George Springer wearing those socks.
Reaching back and touching a little history with the rainbow on the socks. But I like the orange hats they're sporting today. Sorry.
Dark jerseys, orange hats. Springer, Altuve, Correa showing the stirrups today. Down the line, foul. Altuve down on the count, 0-2.
Make so much about the home road splits that Altuve's actually done a really good job in this series, in this homestand. He's 8 for 15 with 2 home runs. It's kind of nice to see him getting things going here at home, but he's also one of those guys that I feel like he kind of willed himself into getting more hits here at home. You could tell he was just as frustrated with that difference between his home road splits, because on the road he is definitely Ted Williams.
107 hits coming in on the season, most in baseball. That ball's driven to left field. Back goes Gordon. He'll leap and he'll make a great catch against the fence right by the AT&T side. Altuve bidding for extra bases, and Gordon, a Gold Glover out there, makes a fine play.
I'll tell you what, now 6 games that we're seeing him play against the Houston Astros, they're trying to help him earn that Gold Glove again. It was a good job by Jose Altuve pulling the hands in, but still just enough two-seam run on that fastball to get near the label. That's why it didn't really get up over the head of Alex Gordon.
We have seen, and again, it's a shallow left field here at Minute Maid Park. There's not a whole lot of room there, but we have seen Alex Gordon pretty much play on the edge of the warning track for a lot of these right-hand hitters for the Astros.
Yeah, he's hovered right. He's almost got his back pockets on the manual scoreboard out there.
So not a lot of room to cover to get back there. Still was a nice play. You could change the out-of-town scores in between batters. Here's Carlos Correa. Correa drills one. This one's foul down the left field line.
If you're scoring at home, that was E, B, B. Error on the ball boy. It's a tough game. We're scoring everybody here.
You got it right there. EBB in the top right corner.
Yeah, or you could just circle the upper right-hand corner. There you go.
That was a tough play. You're going to give him an error?
What's that?
It was a tough play. Had a little top spin.
Yeah, but he was a little slow getting off the chair.
It is Sunday. Day game after a night game. They had 12 innings. The kid was out there for a while last night.
Yeah, a bad pot of coffee.
Correa, the hero of last night's game. Sac fly earlier in the game to get the Astros on the board, and then the walk-off to win it in the 12th. Carlos up to 49 runs batted in, one more than Evan Gattis for the team lead. Campbell gets a strike at the top of the zone. It's 0-2. 16th start of the year for Jason Hamill. Springer on the move, and Correa swings through the pitch, and that'll end the first. So a leadoff walk and 1 man left on base.
everybody how to do just that. And my man Maddox here, he's working on it. Maddox, what have we learned so far?
So on a walk, you draw a line to. So on a walk, you draw a line to wherever they walk to the first, and then if they steal base, you do it again. But if it's a strike, you write a K, and if they hit it out and a person catches it, you write their number.
So you're learning so far. So far, so very good. And we've talked about this, guys, about how everybody has a different look as far as their scorebook is concerned. Blummer, yours and mine are very similar, but gives you an idea, pretty basic, and we're going to continue to keep score. And as you can tell, Maddox, he can talk and he can keep score, guys. He's sitting back upstairs.
Cool. So has he ever kept score before, or is this the first time?
This is his first time to keep score. Maddox is 9. Your favorite baseball player is?
Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve, he's a pitcher, and he's also a first baseman. And you catch too, right?
Yes, sir.
And he said that the play on he changed the error on the ball boy to a no play.
Yes.
That's for you. That's for you, Blummer.
Appreciate that.
All right, brother.
Have fun.
Okay.
All right, we'll check in with Esh and Maddox throughout the course of today's game as Kevin does a great job teaching how to keep score. Garrett Cole picks up a strikeout here on 4 pitches of Alcides Escobar. Cole picks up his 3rd strikeout of the game. And he moves past his college teammate Trevor Bauer for 2nd in the AL in strikeouts with 141. Cole threw 33 pitches in that first inning. A little bit similar to his last start where he needed 67 pitches to get through 3. Yet he still finished off 7 innings against Tampa Bay. He kind of locked it in after those first 3. Here's a ball hit well to center field off the bat of Almonte. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Springer's going to have to hustle to get it back in. Almonte's thinking 3. Correa will not have a chance at a relay throw. Abraham Almonte, a 1-out triple.
Almonte not messing around, attacking early. Not great numbers on the season, but if fastball up out over the plate. Now Monte guessed right, got it, the barrel to it on time, and with that kind of opposite field shift that the Astros play in the outfield, that was a long run for George Springer to get out there. And Almonte can run a little bit, put his head down, realizing that ball was going to get to the wall, and I think he was thinking 3 immediately.
Second triple of the year for Almonte. Now the infield in for Drew Butera, who takes a called strike.
Again, first triple we've seen in this ball game. So you put them all the way over there. You can either write 3B in the middle like I do, or you can circle that triple, the 3B, in the top portion of your scorecard if it's there.
A lot of different sporting goods stores will have books available. Some of them will have blank sheets like Blummer's sheet is, and others will have those notations on the scorecard like you've seen we drop in that little graphic after a base hit.
So that graphic is more or less your square for each hitter.
Yep.
So that's how Todd keeps score. And I had one just like Kevin Eschenfelder's before I kind of morphed into this one that I have now that I stole literally from Dave Willis, the radio broadcaster for the Tampa Bay Rays, and kind of made some adjustments to it.
Cole looking for a strikeout here ahead 0-2, and he gets a foul ball right into the Kansas City Royals TV booth next to us.
Man, I hope Huddy is all right.
Heard it rattle around. Hey, there's somebody keeping score. And there's the blank canvas like Blummer and Esch, where there's no numbers, there's nothing in that box. It's just a blank canvas. Little tapper in front of the plate. Stassi's going to make the play on Almonte. Max Stassi. That's the rare 2 unassisted. And Stassi gets Almonte coming home on the fielder's choice.
What a play. Heads up. Almonte basically running into the out, but check out Max Stassi bouncing, knowing he could catch that thing in fair territory. What I like is that he had the intent probably to catch his ball in fair territory and get the out at first, but recognized Almonte coming towards him and took that lead runner out of the equation. That was beautifully done. That's a great angle to see how Max saw that play unfold.
Yeah, that ball had some English, and he picked it up just before it went foul.
Heads up.
I know it's the contact play, but Almonte had the play right in front of him. Yet he still barreled home and was tagged out. A big out there for Garrett Cole, as Alberto Mondesi scatters the PR staff for the Astros as he fouls one into the press box. It's 0-1.
Yeah, we're under attack up here.
All right, Blummer, after this pitch, you're going to get to show the fans how to score that one. Well, we may have to wait till next inning as Marwin will flip it to Correa for the final out of the top of the second. Nice play by Stassi to give Garrett Cole a shutout second.
A little nubber out front. The contact play was on, but a bad decision by Almonte. And this is how we're going to write it in there. Because Max Staxi picked it up, he is the 2 position, and it was an unassisted play because he tagged the runner out. So that's how you do it. But you also have to write in there that the base runner made it to first.
Base runner made it to first, and it was a fielder's choice. As Yuli took a curveball for a ball that was up and in on him. It's 1-0. 1-1 the count. So a couple of fielder's choices in that inning. The second out on the fielder's choice, 2 unassisted. And the next batter would ground one to Marwin Gonzalez, who flipped it to Correa for another fielder's choice. Yuli sends one pretty well to left center field. Back goes Almonte. He's at the track. It's off the wall. It hits Almonte on the way down, and Yuli has a stand-up double. Yuli Gurriel starts the second by hitting one to the fence.
There was a hanging slider from Jason Hamill, and it got pineappled. Put on a tee up out of the plate. Yuli likes those times when he can get those arms extended. He still does such a good job of pulling the hands in when he needs to, but when those arms get extended, that's when he starts to do some damage. In that tricky part of the field out there where that kind of cutout by the bullpen confused Almonte. He thought about going for it, but would have had no shot. That was about halfway up that wall.
Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick takes a pitch outside for ball 1. First hit of the game for the Astros. Yuli Gurriel with a double. Reddick hitting .367 his last 9 games. Has that batting average at .247 on the year. Hamill behind in the count, 2-0. Yuli's 18th double of the year. He is chasing Bregman and Altuve for the team lead. Alex has 22.
And Yuli got off to a slow start this year with the injury and the suspension, so it's good to see him catching up.
Base hit to right field. Gurriel had to hold up momentarily, so no RBI there for Josh Reddick. Yuli had to freeze initially on that line drive. And Reddick with a base hit. Astros with first and third, nobody out.
Yeah, Josh is now hitting .400 on this homestand. We've become accustomed to that. He likes swinging the bat here in front of the home folks. And here on Superhero Night, Spider-Man laces one into right field. Good job on the extension for Josh Reddick on that pitch. Yeah, no need to force the issue when you got leadoff double and a base hit.
Josh didn't play in the game Friday when we televised. Last night was a national telecast, so our first chance to congratulate Josh Reddick, who got engaged on the off day Thursday. Congratulations to he and Georgette.
And he did it in a very Houstonian way, going down to NASA.
How about that?
Launching his relationship.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez. I like that. Well played. Marwin bats with first and third and nobody out. Now, Josh has endeared himself to all the Astros fans prior to that, and now he just further cements his status in the city of Houston with that move. Slider for a strike to Marwin. It's 0-1. Marwin having a great month of June, 375, tied for second best in all of baseball. Infield in the middle is bat. Corners are in. Marwin fouls one away. It's 0-2.
Good slider to hit. Marwin knows he just missed that one. First pitch was a good pitch, down and away, kind of a backdoor slider, but this one stayed up out over the middle of the plate. And our sac fly StatCast shading in the outfield takes into account the base runner at third base and the arm strength of the outfielders. They're playing relatively deep, so it'd take a pretty shallow fly ball to be able to throw out Yuli, but anything in that region where it's green, you're going to see Yuli give it a shot.
Dumping away. It's 1-2. Hamill coming into this start averaging 5.9 strikeouts per 9. That is the lowest of his major league seasons. But he will look for a strikeout here. He did strike out Correa to end the first on a slider. And he gets Marwin here. 92-mile-an-hour fastball for his second strikeout. 1 out in the second.
Got a Twitter question. Either of you track pitch count in your scorebook? David said he started to. A little cumbersome. I do not, but I think Todd does.
I do. I put the number right next to the inning. So 14 pitches for Hamill in the first inning. First inning for Garrett Cole, 33. Just to kind of keep a running total. For example, last start with Cole, he had 67 pitches through 3, and you thought, ooh, this could be a 5, maybe a 6-inning start, and he ended up going 7. So a lot of help from our stats people here. But yeah, I keep track of it.
Yeah, you're much better at it. And you do a good job of talking over and writing down in your scorebook, keeping along. I cheat and use websites.
Either way,
yeah.
You can catch up that way too.
But I have more time to be able to look those things up.
But to that point, you as you mentioned in your 3 keys to scoring, you keep track of every strikeout pitch. I do that, but not every time. Like, I go through my book, and maybe a third of the time, half the time I've got the pitch, but you have it almost every single time. You know what struck out that hitter in that previous at bat. Max Stassi bats now with first and third and 1 out. And he swings through that delivery. It's 1-1.
And a lot of the reason I do that is because it helps me recall the at bat if I know what they struck the guy out on.
And then if he gets to 2 strikes, then you know, all right, this is how I got him last time.
Yep, and kind of reference back to that point. A lot of the notes that I do take are to help reference back to parts of the game or previous games in that series.
Astros looking for an early lead in this game. They have not had an early lead in any of these 3 games over the weekend against Kansas City. Stassi would like that call for Garrett Cole when he's behind the plate. Royals won the first game 1-0. Astros trailed 3-0 early yesterday to Kansas City before tying into the 9th and winning in the 12th. Stassi stays alive. Stassi is quietly putting together one of the better first halves of any catcher in the American League. He's got the highest slugging percentage, got the second highest OPS. Getting a chance to play more frequently since the DL stint recently for Brian McCann. Reddick may have been leading, and Hamels frustrated with himself that he didn't make a better pickoff throw.
Yeah, I think the Royals were thinking along the same line that I was, and probably Todd was too. This is a great situation, maybe with an off-speed pitch for Josh Reddick to take advantage of and try and get himself, steal himself into scoring position.
Stassi takes one in the dirt, 2-2. Stassi starting to catch up to McCann in the number of plate appearances for a catcher this year. McCann started the day with 144 AB, Stassi with 127. Another one in the dirt, and another take by Stassi, and now the count's full. Now you would imagine Reddick might start on a 3-2 pitch. Double by Yuli, a single by Reddick. Hamel able to strike out Marwin Gonzalez, and now the count's full on Stassi. Tony Kemp waits on deck. Reddick 1 for 2 in steals on the season. Reddick goes, the pitch is up and in, ball 4, the bases are loaded. Stassi down in the count, 1-2, ends up drawing the walk.
The Astros Foundation is teaming up for Turn the Page, a community effort to help Houston's childhood literacy crisis. The Astros will hold a children's book drive tomorrow through Wednesday, where fans can donate new or used books at any entrance gate at Minute Maid Park.
Tony Kemp batting with the bases loaded. Kemp has batted twice this year with the bases loaded, has 1 sac fly and also a 2 RBI single. And foul out of play. And a catcher's interference is going to score a run. Tony Kemp to first. Everybody moves up a base. Yuli will score the game's first run on catcher's interference called on Drew Butera.
Drew's arguing it, but I'm not sure why or how or what he hopes to accomplish. His glove is well into the strike zone. Tony Kemp didn't alter his swing to get to Drew Butera's glove. The glove comes back and then reaches into that zone, and we've talked about it a couple of games ago, and we talked about it a lot last year, where off speed you'll see the catcher reach out and try and get it. But that is I write it in my book like this, or you can circle the E2 and the runner will come in to score. And typically when I enclose a square, I will color it in, I'll highlight the number to make sure that I can tell myself that that run had scored. But an interesting way to drive in a run.
Yeah, the more colorful the Astros scorecard is for Blummer, the better off the day is. Here's a line drive, and it's caught by Escobar and short. Kind of a humpback liner off the bat of Springer. Everybody had to remain on their bases. Nobody got too far off the bag to get doubled up. That's 2 outs. The catcher's interference is an error.
Yes, but the hitter does not get the RBI.
Nope.
So you can't give an RBI. This is a great job by the Astros fundamentally on the base paths. Those are the scorecards that they hand out here at Minute Maid Park.
Pretty neat writing right there.
Yeah, that's clean. Very clean.
CI, catcher's interference. I like that. Alex Bregman now bats with the bases full. Takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Bregman has batted 9 times this year with the bases loaded and has 4 hits. That included a walk-off to start this homestand on Monday. Doubled to left center field. And now he's ahead of the count, 2-0. Alex felt like he had a pitch to hit last time up on a 1-0 pitch. Now you would think he can lock and load on a 2-0 delivery from Jason Hamill.
I'm not going to be upset if I have to write grand slam in my book.
3-0. 20.7% chase from Alex Bregman. That is the third lowest in the American League. Right now, his strike zone is a very small circle right in the middle of the plate. He's going to be very selective on a 3-0 pitch. Hamill wanted that call. Instead, it's a 4-pitch walk. Alex Bregman gets an RBI with a bases loaded walk, and the Astros now lead 2-0.
That didn't look like a terrible pitch, but with that being a walk, our MD Anderson strike zone is going to give you that location. That one caught part of the zone. I think it might have even surprised Alex Bregman, but with that walk and the bases loaded, forcing that run in, Alex does get an RBI for that. And I'll usually notate that in my book with just a little blue dot. Blue dots in my book are good. Means they've driven in a run.
RBI number 43 for Bregman. That's now 10 in his last 9 games. Now Altuve bats with the bases loaded. Fourth consecutive hitter batting with the bases loaded. Now Altuve drives one up the middle for a base hit. In comes Stassi. In comes Kemp. Astros lead 4-0 on the 2 RBI single by Jose Altuve.
Taking advantage of walks, taking advantage of mistakes. It's what good teams do. And man, I know these Houston fans here would like to see the Astros break out in Minute Maid Park. It's a good job on a fastball away, just going right back up the middle. The Royals don't employ the shift against Jose Altuve. What a jump by Tony Kemp, by the way.
Altuve driving in runs 40 and 41 on the year. And the Astros have scored 4 in the inning. 3 hits in the inning, the opening 2 hitters, and then Altuve. A couple of walks and a catcher's interference in between.
There he is, Jose Altuve getting past Terry Poole. How about the number of games it's taken Altuve to accrue those numbers? Wow.
Remarkable start to his career. Bob Watson next on that list. It'll be fun watching Altuve climb those charts as his career moves along here in Houston. But almost 500 fewer games than we saw from Terry Poole to get to 1357.
It's almost as if Jose Altuve's goal in baseball is to show other players up.
And there's no one close the last 5 years. No, really.
I know.
The total number of hits, he's got more than a 100 hit gap between him and the next closest guy.
It's a lot of hits.
It's a half a season's worth.
Man, for him.
For him, yeah. For some guys, that's 3/4 of a season.
Exactly.
2-1 to Correa. And now he'll be in a good hitter's count at 3-1 as Hamill, normally with decent command of the strike zone, has been a little bit selective against these Astros.
Well, he's had a couple of pitches on the edges not go his way, so that's probably giving him a little bit of stress. But what else gives you stress is facing this lineup with guys on base. When you have traffic and the Astros up there and their runner in scoring position batting average, and these guys hungry for RBIs, that's tough to pitch to.
30th pitch of the inning, and that misses the outside corner, ball 4. Third walk of the inning. The bases are loaded once again for the guy in the start of the inning, Yuli Gurriel.
And all this is going to do is make a mess of my scorebook because I'm going to have to go to the next inning to keep filling in this inning.
There you go. The old third inning becomes the second inning, as the Astros will send their 10th man to the plate as Cal Eldred, the pitching coach, will go out and have a word with Jason Hamill. Scorebook is starting to get colored in for Blummer.
It is. And now I got to find the whiteout to get rid of some of these innings and turn it back into the second inning. So a lot of people are asking, you know, what happens in this situation? So basically what I do is just white out the rest of the game up here, and then I'll fill in the inning because I'm going to have to write the continuation of the second inning. But the highlights, as you can see, mean runs. And I usually use the red for where they make it on the base paths. The blue ink will tell me how they got on, usually positively, whether it be via the walk. I'm a pen guy. I'm a one pen guy. I'm very loyal and committed to my one pen, as opposed to some people who play around and cheat around like Todd Callis.
At least a half dozen pens every broadcast. Today's a little light.
It is a little light. I was shocked to see you didn't come out with that many pens.
Here's Yuli Gurriel taking one up and in for a ball. Yuli started this inning with a double. Came around to score on a catcher's interference. Yuli hit that slam near his home last year against the Miami Marlins. Inside, it's 2-0, and Hamill, who normally first pitch strike is the name of his game, 67% first pitch strikes, but today that has not been solid for him. He has fallen behind a lot of hitters. Now Yuli can lock in on a 2-0 pitch. Good pitch at the knees there. It's 2-1. $16 RBIs in the month of June for Yuli. Chance to add to those totals. That ball's driven deep to left field. Gordon looking up. Grand slam. Home run. 8-0 Astros. Yuli's second grand slam of his career, and home runs in back-to-back games.
Was it me, or could you just sense that that was going to happen? The way Hamill was throwing pitches in this inning didn't seem too confident. Snuck a fastball by Yuli in a 2-0 count. Tried to do it again in that 2-1 count. Might have been a little bit further in, but Yuli got the hands and barreled to it and turned on it for a big grand slam. The Astros are trying to make me run out of ink.
Fun day to try to learn to keep score. 8 runs in the inning. Still no action in the Royals bullpen. Their bullpen's been used up a little bit the last few days. Hugs for homers. The day after they gave away the Yuli Troll Doll. Yuli hit a home run that night, and now Bregman fixing the hair after the grand slam.
Yuli doing a good job. You can see that third pitch down and in. Yuli again at ready. That one in off the plate. But what Yuli does is pull the hands in so nicely and then yank that into the Crawford boxes for that 4 RBI home run.
Fly ball into left field. Gordon is there, but a huge inning for the Houston Astros, putting up an 8th spot. The last 4 scoring on the grand slam by Yuli. Google Play or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions do apply. Yuli made this a fun scorebook already.
He really has. That was a great inning for him, a double and a home run. But I'll actually, some people will put grand slam, and I will actually write a 4 in that lower right-hand corner for that RBI. You can also color it in if you'd like.
Yuli scores 4 with one swing of the bat, and now Garrett Cole works with a large lead as he faces the top of the order for the second time. Rosell Herrera and Cole quickly ahead 0-2. Garrett only needed 11 pitches last inning to get through the second inning. After a 33 pitch first and 3 pitches, and Herrera down for the second time in this game, looking at a call third.
This date in history is presented by Mercedes-Benz. A lot of damage being done on this date against these Kansas City Royals. 9 runs in the first inning. The Astros defeated Kansas City 13-4 back on June 24th of 2016. And then the same inning, George doing some serious damage.
George a couple of years ago with a home run and a triple in the first inning. And just a moment ago, Yuli with a double and a home run in the second inning of this one. Here's Alex Gordon. He walked his first time up. 1-1 the count. Garrett worked around a 1-out triple last inning. Was able to get a little bouncer in front of home plate. Abraham Almonte trying to score was tagged out by Stassi. Now Garrett ahead 1-2 on Gordon. Four strikeouts for Cole, 2 walks. Right back to the mound on one big hop. Garrett will underhand it to Yuli for out number 2.
We'll talk about the pitcher. We gave you the numbers earlier. This is always an interesting one. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Throws it over to Yuli, who is in that third position. So your standard 1-3. Get that second inning, the second out of the inning.
Two outs, nobody on. Here's Mike Moustakas. Moustakas takes one inside for ball 1. Moustakas leads the team in home runs, runs batted in, and runs scored. Walked and stole a base his first time up. Cole down in the count 2-0. The back-to-back starts by Cole, allowing 4 runs. First time as an Astro he's allowed 4 runs. Looking for a quick 1-2-3 inning here as George Springer puts it away for the final out. Good inning for Garrett Cole. Astros lead 8-0.
is, which Astros pitcher has been the biggest bullpen surprise? A, Colin McHugh, or B, Tony Sipp? Go to @ATT Sportsnet SW to cast your vote. Both guys have had great years so far, guys.
Really have. And one guy learning the new role.
It's been impressive stuff on both ends. It's good to see Sipp turn things around, but Colin McHugh, like you said, getting bumped out of that starting rotation, doing a great job out of that bullpen.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez leading off the third. And he sends one high in the air into shallow. Actually, it's on the infield. Mike Moustakas is there. Underhand catches it for the first out. One pitch, one away. One of the keys to the comeback yesterday for the Houston Astros is their bullpen locked down after Lance McCullers went 6 innings. Lance just gave up one swing worth of runs, 3 runs allowed on the home run by Hunter Dozier, but then Brad Peacock a shutout 7th, Tony Sipp a shutout 8th, Will Harris a shutout 9th, Davinsky 2 shutout innings 10th and 11th, and Colin McHugh ended up picking up the win when he struck out the side in the 12th, and Carlos Correa walked it off in the bottom half. Hamels' first pitch misses up and into Max Stassi. Stassi walked as part of an 8-run second inning for the Astros. Hamel walked 3 in that inning. They all came around to score. Also, Tony Kemp reaching on catcher's interference, and not only scored the first run of the game, but it also created one of those 8 being an unearned run as Kemp came around to score as well. One on the corner. It's 2-1. Hamel needed 37 pitches to get through the second inning. Towards short. Escobar on a second big hop. Makes the play for out number 2.
Fans with tickets to this Tuesday's game have a unique chance to upgrade their ticket and get their favorite Strozone shirts presented by Texas Mahindra dealers from this year and last year for only $10. To upgrade your tickets, visit astros.com/t-shirt.
So 2 outs. Here's Tony Kemp. Kemp was the batter with 1 out and the bases loaded. Hit the glove of Drew Butera. Ended up drawing a catcher's interference that scored the game's first run. One and 1 the count. Hamel is going to try and give Ned Yost some innings today. With the 12-inning game for the Royals the night before, and then KC holding on to that shutout on Friday. They've used some of their key arms in the bullpen a little bit the last couple of nights.
I think last night's hurt the most, knowing they had a chance to win that game, trying to close it out. They traded their closer Kelvin Herrera to the Nationals, kind of left it void out there, and Ned Yost trying to piece that together, eventually losing it. That hurts your bullpen big time.
Justin Grimm was used for the second straight game. He's been out there 3 out of the last 4. Ended up taking the loss, even though it wasn't entirely his fault. A little pop-up dropped in, and then an error allowed the runners to advance 90 feet. Kemp with a 2-2 count. Tony starting the game batting .306 on the year. In case you're wondering, with batting averages and errors and all that stuff, the last at bat with the catcher's interference, it is an error on Butera. Kemp reaches base. It is not an at bat. Never really had a chance to do anything. So there's a base hit. Tony Randazzo had to get out of the way of that line drive off the bat of Tony Kemp. He's a 2-out base runner.
Not a good 2-strike pitch. Elevated in the zone. Usually benefits the hitter trying to go down and in, but a fastball elevated up out over the plate. Tony with that nice compact swing shoots it right back up the middle, and you know what this does out of the 9th spot. Flips that order over. I know there's 2 outs in the inning, but anytime you flip this lineup over for the Astros, there's always potential for damage.
Here's Springer. He walked and also hit a soft line drive to Escobar. 5 hits for the Astros. They have scored 8 runs. Slider for a strike, 0-1. 7 of the 8 previous starts for Hamill against the Astros, he allowed 2 runs or fewer. That is not the case today. A 2.85 ERA against Houston prior to this start.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the Astros are seeing the baseball out of Hamill's hand early. The reason I say that is because some of these inside pitches, the pitch to Yuli that he hit out, that swing right there by George Springer, the foot's down, the hands are back, and they're recognizing and waiting for that pitch to get in the zone before they start that swing.
Swing and a miss on the slider as Hamill ends the 3rd with a strikeout. His 3rd strikeout. Astros lead 8-0.
The Royals 8-0. Not only are we helping you learn how to score today, it's also superhero day here at Minute Maid Park, which is a big assignment because I got to scour the park and I found Rosie. Now here's the deal. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Rosie is actually Supergirl. Supergirl, are you having fun?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about coming to the baseball game?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. I agree 100%. Well, her father Richard is here. When did you become aware that your daughter was in fact Supergirl?
I had my suspicion when she had downed one of those big tubs of popcorn by the top of the 2nd.
Yeah.
So far we're on pace to go through about 10,000 calories of popcorn by the 9th here. The Astros will be up 80-0, and Rosie will have had 8 tubs of popcorn.
That works for everybody. I want you to check out the Superman shirt. They got the cape. We've even got the Supergirl tutu, because when you're Supergirl, you have to accessorize. Well done, Rosie. Continue to have fun and continue to bring the Astros a victory, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. By the way, I saw Superman. He was over in 127. Your seats are much better than his. Nice job. You know, guys, we got several Astros players who they will tell you without blinking an eye that if they weren't baseball players, they could be superheroes. You know, we got a couple of those. Springer thinks he's Superman. Josh Reddick thinks he's Spider-Man. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it's kind of neat. A little disturbing, but kind of neat. Evan Gaddis. We were talking before the game. Evan Gaddis could be, you know, like the lumberjack, right? Got a flannel cape, power axe,
Power beard.
drive in some runs, hit the streets, fight some crime. A lot of potential here, guys.
Yeah, he was looking right through us there for a second.
Reddick takes it to the biggest extreme.
He really enjoys it.
3-2 pitches crushed. That is a home run by Lucas Duda. That's the 4th time he has hit a home run in his career against Garrett Cole, and he puts the Royals on the board. It's now an 8-1 game. Duda just off the DL yesterday after being gone for 6 weeks due to plantar fasciitis. It's his 5th home run of the year.
Well, Duda got destroyed on fastballs in his first AB. Decided to get around on this one.
He's the one guy in this lineup who had success against Garrett Cole, and that continues today. Here's Hunter Dozier. He lined to Bregman with 2 on and 2 outs in the first inning. Royals had runners on 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs, and Dozier lined out. Misses that fastball. It's 0-1. Cole working with an 8-0 lead when he allowed that solo home run, just trying to make sure he didn't walk anybody and create any extra traffic on the bases, and Lucas Duda was ready for that fastball. Now Cole ahead 0-2 on Dozier. Throws a fastball by him. That is strikeout number 5 for Garrett Cole. 1 out in the 4th. Every Tuesday night home game at Minute Maid Park is Dollar Dog Night, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy all the dollar dogs you can eat this Tuesday when the Astros take on the Blue Jays. For tickets, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Alcides Escobar takes a called strike. Tuesday will be Charlie Morton on the mound for the Astros. Justin Verlander starts the series tomorrow. Toronto Blue Jays coming to town after they play their final game in Anaheim to complete that weekend series against the Angels. Try to hold up, and he does. It's 2-1. Royals are in the middle of a road trip, but they're actually going to stop at home for a quick 1-game set against those Angels tomorrow. Got snowed out of a game back in April. So the Angels will fly in tomorrow for a 3:15 game at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and then the Royals will continue their road trip by heading on to Milwaukee for their series beginning against the Brewers on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's reason 2087 on why you should build a roof over your stadium.
Two pitches fouled away.
Some of the fans will remember I talked about a situation when I was with the White Sox where we had to play a makeup game in Boston on an off day at home during a homestand. And we literally sent a skeleton crew of about 10 position players and 5 pitchers to go out there and attack the Boston Red Sox and Curt Schilling, and came away with the W.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and we flew in, took the W, and went home.
Parachuted in,
that was it.
Out.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Well, at least it's not quite as bad for the Royals. They were going to have an off day tomorrow in Milwaukee, so instead they have a game in Kansas City. They still will have another off day later on in this road trip before they play the Mariners. Right back to the mound. Garrett Cole on one hop. Makes the play for out number 2. The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontron RV. Houston playing 20 out of the final 26 games at home leading into the All-Star break. That 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. It'll be a couple of lefties to start the series. The Blue Jays just announcing a kid who will make his major league debut on Tuesday. Marco Estrada will make the final start on a Wednesday afternoon game against Dallas Keuchel. First time this year that the Astros will see the Blue Jays in town. As we see Teoscar Hernandez and Tyler Clippard back in Houston, and they will be able to pick up their World Championship rings as the Blue Jays and Astros play for the first time. 2-1 the count to Abraham Almonte, who tripled and then was tagged out trying to score on a little tapper in front of the plate with 1 out in the 2nd inning. Three-two pitches outside and high, ball 4. Third walk issued by Cole, first since the 1st inning. Leadoff home run by Lucas Duda. A couple of outs and now a walk. Garrett will face Drew Butera. Butera getting the start today. He hadn't played in a game since a week ago yesterday. You don't see many starts when you're the backup catcher for Kansas City. Their main man, Salvador Perez, catches almost every game. Butera fouls one away. It's 0-1. There is Perez, who gets his first day off since coming back from the disabled list. He had made 56 consecutive starts. Not all behind the plate. 10 of them were at first base. 1 is the DH, but he grinds behind the plate as much as anybody in baseball.
Well, if there's any catcher built to catch that many games in a row, it's Salvador Perez. He is a large human being, and not large in the sense that he's, you know, above weight. He's actually just a physical specimen that's able to go back there and take the punishment that catchers do and still bounce back the next day and play again.
2-1 pitch is a fastball for a strike. It's 2-2. Astros with an 8th spot in the 2nd inning, giving Garrett Cole a big lead. He had 13 runs scored for him a couple of starts ago. And the Astros won in Oakland 13-5. Tried to get him on the slider, but he wouldn't chase. 90-mile-an-hour slider. Somehow Butera held up. It's 3-2.
Cole might be annoyed that he took that pitch instead of swinging at it. Probably get some cheese right here.
He does. Fouls it away.
98. Ooh.
Garrett with 5 strikeouts today. He was only 2 behind both Chris Sale and Trevor Bauer coming into today. He's not going to catch Sale today. Put up a big strikeout game against the Mariners. Foul ball just above our heads. That was almost going to take out Blummer's scorebook.
There's no way I'm going to let that happen, TK. I was getting ready to make the play. It was coming in hot.
Yeah, it was. You were ready, though. 13 strikeouts today for Chris Sale. They're still playing at Fenway. It's 5-0 Boston in the 9th. That's the end of the Mariners gauntlet, by the way. They have not fared so well towards the back half of that gauntlet. Abraham Almonte keeps getting wind sprints between 1st and 2nd on the 3-2 pitches. So there you see the difference between the 2 teams. Seattle still with a 6-game cushion over the Angels for 2nd place, but they have fallen 3.5 games behind the Astros, and Seattle in danger of losing today, down 5 in the 9th.
A's are unbelievable.
Slider, swing and a miss. This time he does get the chase from Butera after he fouled off a few fastballs, and Garrett Cole has 6 strikeouts.
This one 8-1, and we continue to score the baseball game here today, Maddox and I. And so what have you learned the most? Is it the numbers so far?
The numbers, I think I've learned most of the numbers, and the second, I think I've learned mainly all the walks and the bases and the catches, and how to write the lines, how to write down here.
You talk about the lines. This is a lot like what Blummer does. I use red to denote, as far as, for instance, that's the triple right there. There's a home run. If it was anything in red means a hit. Anything in black is everything but a hit. So we're figuring it out here. And guys, you should watch the game through the eyes of a 9-year-old, and because we've covered the rosin bag, we have covered the deal that they clean their cleats on the back of the. We covered it all. We covered orbit, superheroes. Actually, he said that when the foul ball went up there to you, Blummer, he said that if you would have tried to catch that, we would have been able to hear you scream from down here.
Yeah, he probably could have.
No,
it would have hurt my hands. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
He's right.
He's right also that he's learning how to draw in walks a lot.
Sorry, but it's true.
Sorry, but it's true. 7 walks total in this game. He's learning how to fix his mic on the fly, too.
It's a game of adjustments.
It's a game. Here's Alex Bregman. Bottom half of the 4th inning in an 8-1 game. It'll be Bregman, Altuve, and Carlos Correa. Breaking ball, Bregman pounds into the screen in front of the Royals dugout. Alex drew a bases loaded walk his last time up, and that is good for an RBI. Officially 0 for 1. Royals have not had anybody warming up in the bullpen in this game. Hamill, after a 37 pitch second inning, able to work through the 3rd with only 1 base runner. Now it's up and in. Almost hits Bregman, and Alex is saying that did hit me on the hand. And AJ Hinch says, let us take a look at this one. We may have a hit batter if AJ gets enough video proof. And he said, yep, let's go to the headsets.
I thought initially it might have been a foul ball. I saw that the other day, last Friday.
Well, in this game where we're learning how to keep score, we've had a catcher's interference, plenty of walks for Maddox to learn how to draw a walk, and now we could have a hit by pitch. Alex checked his swing, which was the key. If he had gone around, that would simply have been a foul ball, even if it did hit his hand. But because he checked his swing, it could be a hit batter. Hit by pitch is a reviewable play. I think the Astros are going to have a runner.
I agree with you. Jason Hamill's not going to be too happy about it. 2-seam fastballs usually run to that inside corner, and that one gets up near the hand. You can see when it gets near the hand, it gets redirected. Pretty good indication that it did hit that hand. Alex not in a rush to go anywhere.
Well, he wants to make sure they get it right. And if they feel like he got a piece of the bat, then that's the only gray area. But it looked like it hit him in the hand.
It'd be great if they could somehow figure out how to track that signal that's going into the headset and put it into our headset so we can hear what they're saying, but we can't hear anything. We eventually get an email that will explain what was challenged and what the ruling was. But that's about all the information we get. We're pretty much like the fans at home as far as just waiting to see what New York has to say.
If you're wondering who goes to the headsets, it's always the crew chief, and it's always the umpire that is involved in the call. In this case, the home plate umpire, Lance Barrett. And the crew chief is Bill Welke. And Bill Welke says there is not enough evidence. And Alex says, I've got your evidence right here. Want to take a look? But the fact that it could have glanced off the bat.
Well, it could have glanced off my bat too. I mean, good grief. I don't know.
0-2 the count. Clear and convincing it was not, according to New York. We were convinced.
Yeah.
That's one of those that'll probably be a stance. If they called a hit batter, it would have stayed. Instead, they called it no play. Bregman into right center field. Long run for Almonte. Still coming, and he'll make the play as he catches it around waist high for out number 1. Well, Bregman flies out to center for the first out. That'll bring up Jose Altuve.
Almonte playing straight up. That ball tailing away from him. Pretty good play running across there. He's already been hustling on the day. Has a triple on the offensive side. Called it early to make sure that Herrera didn't get in the way or in the way of his route. I got to be honest, he has gotten much better as an outfielder than I saw him with Seattle.
Seen him play center field in this season series between the Astros and the Royals. Altuve, a wild swing at a slider. Don't see that very often. 0-1. Jose not only knocked in 2 runs his last time up on a single, he also scored a run. And in the process, he broke the tie that we chronicled with Terry Poole for hits. He's now 7th all-time in Astros history with 1,358 hits. He also broke a tie with Bill Doran for runs scored. Altuve now with 612 runs scored, good for 9th all-time in Astros history. Next up on that list, the same guy he's chasing in hits, Bob Watson. Altuve 28 runs away from Bob Watson. And he also needs another 90 hits to catch him in that category. So 7th overall in hits now in Astros history and 9th overall in runs scored, as Altuve takes a called strike on the outside corner to 2-2.
You know what we failed to notice again on Alex Bregman's hit by pitch, not hit by pitch? Remember the other day we had AJ Hinch on headset? He said Alex was 0 for 8.
He's 0 for 9.
Alex is now 0 for 9.
Moustakas backed up on that ground ball and it gets under his glove. We'll wait for the ruling. That's a play if you're Jason Hamill you'd like to see your third baseman make.
Yeah, Moustakas has played enough third base to know that he should have made this play. He tried to take that drop step, but he got it a little bit on his heels, and therefore that ball turned into a little bit of a short hop and it got by him. Not sure what the official ruling has been yet. I would score at E5, but of course when we are unsure and the potential to give Jose Altuve yet another hit, we will wait and see what that scoring is.
Here's Carlos Correa. They will give Moustakas an error. Second error of the game for the Royals.
So we've got an E. Got the runner going to first. Give it to the third baseman, which is a 5. Hopefully that leads to an unearned run.
Correa pops one high in the air into right field. Rosell Herrera is there. Puts it away for out number 2. Well, the hero of the game so far, Yuli Gurriel, scored a run, drove in 4, scored a couple of runs in that second inning, double and a home run. League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Yuli Gurriel, with runners in scoring position coming into the game, was the best, and he added to that total with that grand slam. Jose Altuve currently 3rd in the AL. Altuve also added to that total. There's a line drive, fair ball down the left field line, headed towards the corner. Altuve flying towards 3rd. He'll be held up. Gordon does a good job getting the ball back in. Now the ball scoots away from Escobar. Altuve safe to 3rd. Gurriel. He is safe. 9-1 Astros. Great hustle by Altuve and Gurriel to get the extra 90 feet.
That'll eventually be an error on Escobar, the shortstop, but Yuli doing a great job. The runner isn't in scoring position, but if you're just on the base paths right now, you're in scoring position for Yuli Gurriel. Yanking that ball down the line. Everybody advances 180 feet. And then on the throw, Jose Altuve decides to go for a home, and so does Yuli going to 3rd. So that error, that bobble by Escobar, leads to a run and an extra 90 feet for Yuli Gurriel. So that'll be a double on the play. And then an error on the shortstop. Here's Altuve keeping his eye on the play, and as soon as he sees that ball get far enough away from Escobar, he said, why not?
Well, they're going to say actually short-hopped Escobar.
Oh, man.
They're going to give that to Alex Gordon.
How about the shortstop not moving his feet to get himself in position to make the play?
Yeah, that wasn't a great effort by Escobar to get to that ball.
So I'm going to have to change this a little bit.
Got the white out.
Yeah. Well, there's my E6 in green. I put all the errors and great plays in the green. But then the highlighted scores obviously mean the run came around.
A lot of yellow today.
It's a beautiful thing.
So third error of the game committed by the Royals. And even though it was a short hop throw, it was not a great effort by Escobar to go out and get that ball.
And the reason I would have given it to the shortstop, having played shortstop, a ball down in the corner like that, the outfielder's trying to do his best to get the baseball in as quick as he can. He doesn't have time to set his feet and make a phenomenal throw to hit the guy in the chest. So my job as a middle infielder or the relay guy is to go out there and make that throw better than it actually is. And I think maybe the score dictated it, or maybe some of the at-bats affect it, but sometimes you don't make the right choice mentally to go out there and try and pick your fellow player up.
Now Hamill issues a walk to Josh Reddick. That is now 5 walks issued by Hamill in this game. Take us through that play again and tell us what you're watching for.
So the ball goes down the line with the runner at first base, and you're immediately trying to get that runner to keep from scoring. And you can see Escobar didn't go out far enough because Alex Gordon was moving. Alex Gordon's a right-handed thrower, so he's moving to his right a very long distance and didn't have the time to set his feet and make a strong throw because he was trying to be quick, especially with the short left field here.
Marwin Gonzalez fouls one back to the screen. They've got to give an error to somebody there because it allowed Altuve to score. It was a tough decision. They did give it to Gordon on the short hop. So 3 errors in this game, 2 errors in this inning. And with Altuve reaching on the error by Moustakas, that run and any further runs will be unearned, as there would have been 3 outs in this inning if Moustakas made that play on Altuve. Marwin pops one foul. Out of play. It's 0-2. Tough day for Jason Hamill. 9 runs allowed on 6 hits. 2 of those 9 runs unearned, but it has been a long outing for him with 86 pitches in the 4th inning. Heath Philmeyer, first bullpen action of the day, warming up for Kansas City. One and 2 the count. Yuli with 2 doubles and a home run in this game. Started the day batting .300. Has that average up to .308. That ball is drilled to right field. Herrera to his left makes the play. Marwin hit it on the button, but caught by Herrera. Another run scores. It's 9-1.
On May 4th of this season in Arizona, Garrett Cole did something that doesn't happen all that often. He went 9 innings, struck out 16. But that bottom line, that was a game score of 100. And that was the 14th time in Major League history that a game score of 100 or more was recorded in the history of baseball. We're going to give you an idea of how that game score goes out there. It's only for pitchers. And this is the graphic that'll show you, much like the Stableford system in golf, you get positives. Obviously, you can rack up some numbers. Negatives will take away, but they all start with 50. And then you add or subtract points for varying things going on there. Each inning completed after the 4th inning is 2 points. Strikeouts are obviously a bonus, and he had 16 of those. Earned runs, unearned runs, and walks count against the pitchers. So pretty unbelievable night for Garrett Cole to go out there and get right at 100.
And the next best game, it's not even close, according to the Bill James scoring method. Sean Manaea with a 95 score for his no-hitter when he walked 2 and struck out 10 against the Red Sox in Oakland on April 21st. Score of 95. There's another 8 guys that have scored 90 or higher, but nobody has come close to that perfect or the nearly perfect 100 score for Garrett Cole earlier this season. That was a fun night in Phoenix.
That was a good scorecard.
that was as clean as it gets. Garrett also struck out every time he batted that night too, to add to the strikeout totals.
Makes for a quick game.
The other no-hitter, James Paxton, only struck out 7 in his no-hitter for the Mariners against Toronto, so his game score was 91 for that no-hitter. Here's the 3 highest in Major League history.
Scherzer and Kershaw with no-hitters. But the big one, Kerry Wood. A lot of Astro fans know that one. That was against the Houston Astros. 1 hit, 20 strikeouts, no walks.
Jeff Bagwell saying on a broadcast earlier this year that was the only game that he wasn't mad that when he struck out, because he knew the other pitcher was that good that day.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to tip your cap.
Adalberto Mondesi leading off the 5th inning. Garrett Cole starting the inning with 87 pitches, so a little higher count than he'd be comfortable with through most 4th innings. It's a swing and a miss there. He pulled a string. Changeup. Doesn't get a lot of strikeouts with a changeup, but gets one there for the first out of the 5th.
Probably felt that Herrera was getting on that fastball, having fouled off a couple, so change the speed, get the swing and miss. On our Mattress Firm Supermo, you could see the ball coming out with that circle change grip and the rotation of it tailing away from the left-handed hitter.
Here's Rosell Herrera. He has struck out a couple of times. Grounds 1 foul. 1 run allowed by Garrett Cole was on a solo home run. 7 strikeouts to go along with 3 walks. The Royals have 1 other hit in this game, a triple by Abraham Almonte. That is a nice job by Max Stassi on a pitch near the knees on the outside corner. Stassi does a really good job bringing those pitches up. Foul back, it stays 0-2. It's one of those years, and I don't think Stassi's going to get the nod, or even Brian McCann get the nod for DC, but you never know. It's one of those years where there's not been a lot of production from the catcher's position.
That's a really good point. I haven't really thought about that too much. The American League side.
Well, they both are amongst the leaders when you combine their numbers. Catching offensive production numbers right there at the top.
Say Gary Sanchez for the New York Yankees is a prodigious power product, and you typically think that he could get voted in with the Yankee fans voting him in, but his numbers haven't been all that great, and he's not getting the attention. Trying to run down the list of who else is out there.
It has been a down year. Today's guy who's resting, Salvador Perez, is down on his normal numbers. Garrett Cole about to make his 100th pitch. Little tapper, could be a tough play. Cole will get over there, and actually he's going to let it roll foul. He saw Herrera going by him, and he decided to let it go. this Baseball Basics Sunday show of teaching how to score the game. Not only are we learning how Blummer scores the game, how Kevin Eschenfelder scores the game, how I score the game. After this batter, we'll show a special scorecard that was brought up to our booth. Barbara Bush, the late Barbara Bush, who used to come to a lot of Astros games. We have a scorecard from one of her games that was played against the Cardinals right here at Minute Maid Park back on May 4th, 2006. So we'll show you that after the at bat by Herrera. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Cole has struck out Herrera all 3 times. That's now 8 in the game for Garrett. And there's 2 outs in the 5th. Barbara Bush put her name up at the top of the scorecard right here. And this is against the St. Louis Cardinals. And
it's very cool.
She would bring in, for example, Chad Qualls in right top of the 7th with 2 outs. That's when he came into the game. Very similar to you, Blummer, where she would color in the run scored. In that game, the Cardinals scored 3 in the 2nd inning. Looked like it was a close game going to the 8th. I noticed a name on there that's on our broadcast team today.
Yeah.
Preston Wilson batting 5th for the Astros. Alex Gordon sends one to center. George Springer moving to his left makes the catch. And that will do it for the Royals in the 5th. Couple of strikeouts and a line out, and the Astros lead this game 9-1. Don't miss over 100 hot buys going on now. Great values in every department. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. All Astros today, 9-1. Jason Hamill gave up 9 runs, 7 of them earned, 3 errors committed by the Royals while he was in there. And starting the 5th inning, just up from AAA Omaha, is Heath Billmeyer.
Trying to fill some of the void out there in that bullpen. It's going to be a tough season, but making his major league debut, 47 strikeouts in those 67 1/3 innings pitched.
So Billmeyer takes over in this 9-1 game, and his first pitch as a major leaguer is to Max Stassi, a fastball up high for a ball. It'll be Stassi, then Tony Kemp, in the top of the order, George Springer. Stassi pops one up on the infield. Hunter Dozier there on the right side. Puts it away for out number 1. Meyer, originally drafted by the Colorado Rockies in 2013, did not sign to Mercer County Community College in New Jersey, and then signed the next year as he was a 5th round pick of the Oakland A's. Originally an infielder, converted to a pitcher. Acquired from the Oakland A's by the Kansas City Royals this past offseason. Tony Kemp bats. Kemp has reached base on catcher's interference and also singled. Three and 0 the count.
That's a good one right here, TK. If Altuve doesn't stop at third and keeps running home, would that still be an error? Is it a discretionary call for the scorekeeper, or is it an RBI?
It's an RBI.
There you go.
Similar to the situation when a guy is on first, breaks for second, even if he has a bad jump, and the pitch gets away, bounces in there, it's not a wild pitch. As long as the guy started towards second, you can't assume he'd be thrown out at second. So it's a stolen base no matter what. Similar, and Altuve doesn't stop at third, you can't assume that the play is going to be made at home plate. You give Yuli the RBI. Now you could give an error allowing Yuli to go from second to third if Yuli had in fact stopped himself at second. Walk to Tony Kemp.
And that's why Todd's in the booth, because I would have given everybody RBIs. I'm always erring on the side of positivity for the home team.
You get an RBI.
Everybody gets an RBI.
Well, the one question I saw on Twitter was about the unearned versus earned runs during the catcher's interference inning. The catcher's interference batter was Tony Kemp, so his run was unearned. Everybody else was earned. It's different than an inning in which an error prolongs the inning, such as Moustakas' error on Altuve. You can assume an out on that play. Catcher's interference, you can't assume an out. You might get a double play here on a ground ball to second, and you get the double play turn. Second to short to first. Springer grounds into a double play to end the 5th. Astros bullpen in the month of June, a 1.88 ERA. And if he begins starting on June 6th, it's even better, a 1.23 ERA. The Yankees vaunted bullpen first in those categories, but the Astros have been right there. Colin McHugh closing out the game last night by pitching the top half of the 12, striking out all 3 batters. He would pick up the win in that walk-off 4-3 victory against the Royals. And McHugh will take the hill again today for the Astros, taking over for Garrett Cole.
McHugh's in our stroll poll. It's always good to see him out there. He's putting up great numbers in 24 games so far. That 3-0 record is nice, but that ERA and WHIP number actually phenomenal for him coming out of the bullpen. 1.09 on that ERA.
And the first batter he faces is Mike Moustakas, who takes a called strike. Defensive changes for the Astros. Tyler White has entered the game at first base. That moves Yuli Gurriel from first to third, and Alex Bregman from third to short. Carlos Correa, walk-off hero of last night's game, has the rest of the day off in this 9-1 game. Nice thing for AJ is Colin McHugh can not only give you effective innings, he can give you length out of that bullpen as he comes on here in the 6th inning. Ground ball foul. It's 1-2.
These guys have been doing good. Devo back to his old ways. So is Brad Peacock. The strikeout numbers jumping for Brad. Colin McHugh doing a great job too. Really think it's, with the starting rotation going as deep into some of these games as they have been, I think has really benefited a guy like Chris Davinsky. Has a tendency to get abused going multiple innings like we've seen him in 2016-17, but now not having to go multiple innings, he's able to maintain that velocity, and all that velocity does is make his changeup that much better.
That's a great point. This is a staff that in general is going to give you at least 6, a lot of times 7, sometimes 8. So Devo doesn't have to soak up as many innings as he certainly needed to that rookie year when he threw over 100 innings.
And Garrett Cole throws a lot of pitches, and this is an opportunity with this score and having Colin McHugh in that bullpen able to throw multiple innings to maybe get him out and this have be kind of just a little more rest than normal. He did have an elevated pitch count, but he didn't get up over 100.
Yeah, had a couple of 33 pitch innings, the first inning and the 4th inning. That added to his overall total, but you're right, with this count of 9-1, Colin McHugh gets some work here as he gets Mike Moustakas swinging for the first out of the 6th inning.
And Garrett Cole did throw 104 pitches, but that's standard operating procedure. That's exactly how many pitches he's averaging on the season.
For Cole, I'm sure he's not going to sit great with only going 5 innings, but we mentioned the high pitch count in those 2 innings. Just the second time as an Astro he's gone fewer than 6 in his 16 starts. Also went 5 against the Angels out in Anaheim earlier this year. There's that good curveball by Colin McHugh for a called strike. Garrett ends the day with 8 strikeouts. He ended up walking 3. 2 in the first inning. Only run scored when Lucas Duda hit a solo home run against him in the 4th inning. Duda bats with 1 out and nobody on. Duda's 4th career home run against Garrett Cole. As he fouls this one back, it's 1-2. McHugh's been very good. You saw those other guys in that graphic recently who have been on point. Streak there for Chris Davinsky of 9 games, 10 innings without allowing a run. Tony Sipp's up to 14 straight games without allowing a run. Swing and a miss at the breaking ball by McHugh. And Colin, who struck out the side yesterday, has now picked up 5 straight strikeouts.
On this scoring Sunday, you're going to see a double play turn against the Astros again. But the way I scored in my scorebook would be 4-6, back to 3. Trouble with 3s on this. And I'd put a DP down here just to really reinforce the fact that it was a double play.
A lot of K's written when Colin McHugh pitches lately, as Hunter Dozier takes one inside for ball 1. Dozier, a strikeout victim his last time up, also is lined out to third. That's a fastball for a strike. Alex Bregman looks different.
Something's missing. Don't know what it is.
He's going to lead off the next inning. We may have to break that down a little further.
Unless something changes in between now and then. And it grows back.
A little soft swing. Colin's going to field it on a couple of hops and make the play to Tyler White. Another strong inning for Colin McHugh out of the bullpen. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Curian Financial following the Astros Blue Jays matinee. The movie Sandlot. The Sandlot will play on El Grande for all fans in attendance. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/movie day. For fans watching El Grande right now, they are noticing a difference in Alex Bregman. He looked different his first at bat than his last at bat as he leads off here in the 6th inning. The Astros up 9-1.
Was it something we said? Yeah, it's not so much down here as it is maybe right here. Barely notice.
Of all the crazy things in your career, have you ever shaved in the middle of a game?
No. I shave once a week as it is.
Here's a ground ball to Dozier. Alex Bregman shaving in between his 2nd inning walk, where he drove in a run with a bases loaded walk, and his 4th inning fly out to center field. So now,
yeah, I wonder what prompted it.
A clean looking Alex Bregman. Uh-oh.
Quick trip to Snapville.
Maybe that answers why he shaved the mustache. Not real happy with his ABs today. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve's reached base twice. Singled in a couple of runs. Also has scored 2 runs.
Clean shaven. Alex is kind of angry.
Love the grind though.
Oh man,
it's 9-1, and he wants every at bat to be as good as it could possibly be.
And that's what needs to be said. He's not. He is mad because he got out, but he's also mad because he takes every at bat to heart. And that's something you really can't teach. You know, 9-1 game, you could be like, well, I hit the ball hard. You know, the game's going to be over fast. But there is no excuse. He expects to get a hit or be on base every time he steps in that box.
2-1 count to Altuve. Chops one foul.
And that's really what endears him to us and everybody else in that clubhouse.
Brian McCann has said it a couple of times that he's never played with anybody who loves the game of baseball more than Alex Bregman. And that's over a lot of years that Brian McCann has played the game of baseball. This one chopped towards third. Moustakas fields this one. He made an error on Altuve. Ground ball the last time when he backed up on one. Now 2 outs and nobody on. Time to play. Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Who am I? Behind the dish. Monterey. Drop the mic. If you have a guess or you know the answer, send it to @ATT Sportsnet SW.
That was too easy.
Got it?
Yeah.
How many clues did you need?
2.
2? First 2?
Yep. Third one just reinforced it.
Tyler White gets his first at bat. Tyler coming in defensively in the top half of this inning. Carlos Correa leaving the game. Carlos reached base on a walk, scored a run. He was 0 for 2 today after driving in a couple of runs in the 4-3 Astros win last night. No off day in the near future for the Astros, so a chance for A.J. Hinch not only to DH Jose Altuve today, but to give Carlos Correa a half day off. The Astros' next off day will come a week from tomorrow, when they have a day off between a 4-game series in Tampa Bay and a 2-game series against the Rangers in Arlington. Little superhero of the youngest sort.
Super baby.
There's a strike. It's 3-1. Pretty impressive debut so far for Heath Billmeyer. Did allow a walk last inning, but got through that inning with a double play. Now it's 3-2. Billmeyer growing up in New Jersey. Turned 24 earlier this season. came down in the count. White fouls off that 3-2 pitch. He was in the same deal with Jesse Hahn going from the A's to Kansas City. Ryan Buchter, Brandon Moss, and Cash heading to Oakland in that deal. And there are spots right now in that Royals bullpen. Brad Keller was their setup man. He's now in the starting rotation. Kelvin Herrera was their closer. He's now with the Washington Nationals. We saw Ned Yost get a save out of Tim Hill on Friday night, his first major league save. The submarining left-hander saved that 1-0 shutout. Brandon Bauer unable to pick up the save last night. His bullpen might have some spots to fill. And no pun intended, Phil Meyer getting his opportunity.
Well played. It's always about opportunity, too. We put up his AAA numbers. They didn't scream at you and say that he deserved that call-up, but opportunity presents itself sometimes on these clubs that are struggling a little bit. And even better opportunity for Phil Meyer against a very good hitting team to maybe put up some good numbers and change the minds of management.
Should have a 1-2-3 inning here on the pop-up. Moustakas in foul territory puts it away. We head to the 7th. Still 9-1 Astros.
AJ, soak in some special history and you'll find out who Tony Kemp is giving hugs for homers to. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the postgame show, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
First round pick Seth Beers off to a nice start in his minor league career. We head to the 7th. Colin McHugh will face 6, 7, and 8 in the Royals lineup. Alcides Escobar, Abraham Almonte, Drew Butera. McHugh pitching back-to-back games. Escobar a strikeout and a ground out back to Garrett Cole. Cole struck out 8. McHugh has struck out 2. 10 combined for the Astros pitchers today. Going back to McHugh pitching in Kansas City 3 appearances ago. He struck out 2 in a perfect inning in Kansas City on the 15th of June. That was the game Friday to start that series. Then he pitched a perfect inning against the Rays on the 18th. That was the first game against Tampa Bay on Monday, and struck out 2. Last night he came on in the 12th inning, struck out all 3 in a perfect inning. I think you're sensing the theme. He has 10 strikeouts of the 12 outs in his last 4 innings of perfect work. 10 strikeouts in 4 innings in his last 4 appearances.
You sound impressed.
I'm very impressed. I mean, we've seen Colin McHugh plenty of times, and he's picked up his share of strikeouts as a starter, but never at this rate.
First time we saw him in an Astros uniform was in Seattle. He struck out 12.
That's right. But over his career, McHugh, as a starting pitcher, right around 1 strikeout per inning. And now as a guy in a bullpen, he can let that fastball eat a little bit, and that curveball's been very effective as well.
Don't forget that slider. Slider was a very effective pitch for him later in late in last season. It's a good mix in velocity and break in his pitches, but he's also executing them very nicely too, putting him where he wants.
Royals are a team that in general will chase. Second in the major leagues in chase percentage, only trailing the Detroit Tigers, another team that features a lot of young players. 1-1 count to Abraham Almonte. Almonte tripled and walked. Takes a pitch for a ball. It's 2-1. Astros won 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay to start this homestand, looking to win 2 out of 3 against the Royals in this series. And then the Blue Jays will be in town for 3 beginning tomorrow. Late time called by Almonte. McHugh wasn't thrilled with that. One of those rare infield alignments for the Astros right now, with Correa out of the game and Altuve DHing, with no Bregman at third, no Yuli at first, and no Correa and Altuve in the middle of the diamond.
You don't see that too often.
Now McHugh ends up issuing a walk. First base runner allowed by Colin McHugh, 1 out in the 7th. Almonte has reached all 3 times today.
Time now to name that Astro, presented by Nissan. We gave you the clues earlier. Behind the dish, Monterey, drop the mic. Who is it?
Yeah.
Spanish radio broadcaster Alex Trevino.
¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
Oh,
yeah.
We got the broadcast.
Puro grande liga. Puro big league.
He's got to be in pretty good spirits, because not only are the Astros playing well, Mexico's doing pretty good in the World Cup
They
too.
are. They are. You know, his brother just had a Texas League record snapped by an Astros minor leaguer.
I did see that.
Randy Cesar, who was non-roster invitee this spring, has now hit in 40 straight games for AA Corpus Christi, a new Texas League record. The previous record, 37 games, set by Bobby Trevino in 1969 with El Paso, Alex's brother.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully Cesar can keep that streak going. That's 40 gamer.
That's impressive, man.
That is getting it done.
Yeah, I don't care what level you're at. That's a pretty impressive number.
1-2 the count to Drew Butera. He bounced it to a fielder's choice right in front of the plate. Almonte was tagged out trying to score on that play. He also struck out. Cole got him with a slider last time. This time McHugh gets one chopped over the mound. Coming in Bregman. He'll make the play, and a nice tag by Tyler White to get the out. Tyler White putting the tag on Butera for out number 2.
Did he get him though? That's the question. Ned Yost is making sure that his guys in the video room upstairs are checking on this. Bregman cutting off Marwin with a high toss.
Maybe not.
Tyler White sold it pretty good. That used to be all you needed to do back in the day, is just sell it. Ned Yost is going to have this play challenged.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I see a tag. A little high throw there by Alex on the move.
That might be the definitive angle right there.
Not hit well, but put in the perfect spot right above the mound. Bregman charging out of the shortstop position, trying to make the play on the run. White tried to make the tag on the high throw, and looks like he just missed Drew Butera. So the Royals challenging the call at first. The call was an out call.
Do you keep track of any of the replays or time of replays on your scorebook?
I don't.
Me neither.
Nope.
I do know that Alex Bregman is 0 for 9 in his requests.
Based on our interview with A.J. Hinch earlier in this homestand.
Yeah, as only A.J. could do it, is keeping analytics on his own players as far as replays are concerned.
Maybe that's why Alex didn't go down the first after.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's a good call.
After he thought he might have been hit by a pitch.
Yeah, held his ground.
All right, Buterra's going to be safe, and now we will wait for the scorer's decision to see if that is an infield hit or an error on Alex Bregman. 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Astros are represented on this year's squad by voting at astros.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th on Fox. That will in fact be an error on Bregman on the high throw. 4th error of the game, first on the Astros. Buterra reaches. And that'll bring up Alberto Mondesi. Superhero day here at the ballpark.
There's Wonder Woman all Houston down.
Yeah, how about that? The Astros version of Wonder Woman.
Well done.
Swing and a miss at the off speed. It's 0-2. In the air, left center field. Springer calls off Kemp, makes the play for out number 2. Today our baseball basics on this Sunday afternoon, teaching you how to score the game. We've had a lot of different opportunities to show you a variety of plays today. Catcher's interference, number of errors. Had a triple, had a bases loaded walk. Had a grand slam. Altuve reached on an error, scored on an error. All kinds of stuff happening in this 9-1 game.
Yeah, the right side of my scorecard is lit up with yellow highlighter. That means a lot of runs have been scored for the Astros. It's a good thing.
Unusual game in that there are more runs scored than hits in this game. There are 10 runs combined and only 8 hits combined. Here's Rosell Herrera. He struck out all 3 times he faced Garrett Cole today. Chase that pitch in the dirt. It's 1-1. And we're seeing a lot of fans out there keeping score of their own game. There's adjacent fans right next to each other in their own version of their scorebooks.
Yeah, some people will bring their own. Guy right there brought his own clipboard.
It definitely,
that's advanced.
It locks you into the game, that's for sure. If you're one of those fans that likes to roam around the stadium and watch a few innings here and there, if you're somebody that's locked into the game, it's not a bad way to pass the time.
And I'm finding out just with some of the tweets that are coming in and maybe watching the situation here, it's a generational thing too. It really seems like it's a pastime, not only the game, but also the art of keeping scores being passed down from generation to generation.
Ball into left field. That'll drop for a hit in front of Tony Kemp. Coming in to score will be Almonte. So the Royals add a run. That'll be an unearned run against Colin McHugh, but nonetheless, it's 9-2. RBI by Herrera. Herrera had a lone RBI in the game Friday night in the Royals' 1-0 victory. Picks up his 4th since joining the Royals. The reason it's an unearned run, even though Buterra is the one that reached on the error prolonged the inning. There would have been 3 outs in the inning without the error committed. So it goes as an unearned run. Ball 1 to Alex Gordon. He has walked and also grounded back to the pitcher and lined out to center. Did you start scoring the game after your baseball career?
Yep, as soon as I got this job, yeah.
You mentioned generational. My dad kept score totally different than I did.
Really?
Totally different. He helped me certainly, but he had a blank slate like you did.
Yep.
And I just went to the sporting goods store, and the first book I had all the boxes in there that you have popped up on the graphics whenever you filled it in. So I kept score based on the sporting good book that I had, and did not use my dad's sheets, which were basically a blank canvas like yours. His squares were huge.
Yeah.
Bigger. Like his sheets were this big.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I still have a few of them. I still have a few of his score sheets from the World Series against the Tampa Bay Rays.
And what's interesting about you is you have a whole other notebook that you might be able to hold up that has all of his notes. I mean, this guy is the most prepared guy in baseball. And there's a reason I sit here with one sheet. It's because Todd Callis is a relentless workhorse in the research department. So here's Jeff's.
It's tough.
Here's TK's. So I'll spew a bunch of thoughts and ideas, and he'll back it up with numbers out of that book. That's what I appreciate most.
Well, the cool thing about, and we ping pong it back and forth. You'll do the same for me, and it makes the combination work so well. But the cool thing is we have all these notes, and depending on the game situation, we might only use a third or half of our notes in any given game. In this case, it was a big 8-run inning for the Astros in the second as Colin McHugh gets through the seventh and allows just the 1 run there with a walk, an error, and a base hit in the mix. So it's 9-2 Astros, 7th inning stretch time here at Minute Maid Park, and also on this Sunday afternoon, time to rise for God Bless America, as we'll keep it right here.
To salute those who defend our freedom around the world each and every day. Please join Miss Monica Pasley for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ups that we saw earlier in this year off the bat of Alex Bregman. This one won a ball game. Nobody touched it. It should have been a play made on it, but it ended up being an RBI hit, a walk-off hit for Alex Bregman. Then last night in this series, popped up another one to shallow right field. This one fell in for a hit also, but then there was an error on the bobble right here by Goins, which allowed base runners to advance another 90 feet. So a base hit and an error on that play. The error going to the second baseman. Just a couple of the interesting plays that we've seen throughout the course of this season.
So we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Heath Philmeyer with his 3rd inning of work facing Yuli Gurriel, Josh Reddick, Marwin Gonzalez. Yuli's having himself a game, a home run and a couple of doubles. This will be the first time he's retired as he sends one to left. Alex Gordon there for out number 1. Kevin Eschenfelder and Maddox.
All right, now we have learned a lot today, and this is test time. Ground ball to the second baseman. What do we got?
It would be 4-3.
Ground ball to the third baseman.
5-3.
And the shortstop.
6-3.
What if the ball went to the first baseman and he touched first base by himself? Would that, what if there was a ground ball to the first baseman and he just went straight to the bag?
That would be a 3U.
3U. Boom. We started with a blank slate, guys, and now we've got somebody that can take the basic steps in scoring a game.
You're a good teacher.
Very good teacher.
I think he's a better learner than I am as teacher. I'm just going to go with that.
That went off the leg of Philmeyer, and Reddick beats it out. That'll be a base hit for Josh Reddick on the comebacker off the leg of Philmeyer towards the third baseman, Moustakis. So hopefully next time Maddox goes to a game, he can keep score himself now that he's learned from Mr. Esch.
Yeah, that's one way to keep him engaged. What would have been interesting is if Moustakis was a little bit quicker to this baseball and made the play to first. Then it would have been a 1-5-3. But instead, it's an infield hit. I usually just mark it the standard base hit on the infield. Not that it ricocheted off the pitcher.
Yeah, that's the only difference, one of the differences in our scoring. I'll put the line where the ball goes just to remind myself if it was an infield hit, an outfield hit, in that case, a ricochet off the pitcher to the shortstop side. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Takes a pitch for a ball. And again, it's whatever works for you. And when I mentioned Dad's score sheet, the blocks were bigger. He would advance the runners with the name of the guy who advanced them, not the position number.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of times it was a nickname, but still, it was never like if Marwin advances Reddick here, it was not a 4 advancing the runner. He would put Marwin or yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that to me seemed like a lot more work, but that was what he was comfortable with. And whatever you can use on your score sheet that you could look back and be able to tell the story of the game is all that really matters.
That's a very good way of saying what we're trying to keep track of on our score sheets. Just trying to mark down the story that's being told in front of us and how to recap it.
So in this case, Marwin bats for the 4th time. His first time up, a strikeout swinging. Blummer has the pitch written down that he struck out on. The next time, a pop up to the third baseman. And the 4th inning, it wasn't just a fly ball to right, it was an L9. So that tells you he hit the ball hard his last time. So second at bat, didn't hit the ball so hard, he popped it up. 3rd time, hitting some tough luck as he lined one to Rosel Herrera. And this time he's got a 2-2 count against Heath Philmeyer. Now the count's full. Bart, what do you have for us?
Well, we have found a fan who is keeping score, and I don't know if he had privy to what Kevin was doing with that young man. I don't think he needs the lessons. He seems to be doing okay. Mike has been keeping score most of his life. Did your father teach you to keep score?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And so now you're teaching your son?
That's right, Andrew.
Andrew? How's he doing?
He's doing great. He really loves it. He's got the hang of the positions and the numbers for the positions and all that.
So you've seen a wild game when it comes to teaching him to keep score, right?
Sure is, yeah. Batting around, what was it, earlier in the game was a challenge in the scorebook.
And you've had some catcher interference, you've had a bunch of errors.
Right. So it's a good way to learn. A lot of things to learn today.
It's a fun part of the game, though, right? I mean, the guys were just talking about how it's a generational thing.
That's right, that's right. And it really helps you to understand, all aspects of the game better to learn to score.
So we saw how Kevin was scoring. Hold the book up to the camera. Let your fans see how everybody has their own method, as Blummer has said many times. So there's Mike's scorebook. He and Andrew teaming up to get it done today.
This book has gives you a lot of does a lot of it for you, so you can just circle the hit. So it's helpful.
That's great. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
you guys enjoy the game.
All right, thanks a lot.
Andrew, enjoy the game, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Back up to you guys.
All right, nicely done. That was a rare play, that last one.
Yeah, the shift situation is employed, and Moustakas had to lay out, flip it to the shortstop for the 5-6 fielder's choice.
Don't often see a 5-6 written down in the scorebook as Jake Marisnik will pinch run for Marwin. His day is now done as Max Stassi takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Phil Myers allowed 1 hit, 1 walk so far in 2 2/3 innings in his major league debut. Stassi drills one to center field, well hit. Almonte a long run, he won't get there. With Jake's speed, he will cross home plate easily. Max Stassi with the RBI double. It's now 10-2. And Jake just went from first to home, it seemed like in no time.
Give the assist to A.J. Hinch for getting him in there.
Yeah.
He was flying. It's good to see Stassi on the board getting his hit in this ball game, driving that ball to left field out of the reach of Almonte, who's been showing some good speed and range out there. But Marisnik scoring easily.
That wasn't like a gapper that Almonte had to track down. He played it pretty quickly, and Jake, a great jump off first and never hesitated. Here's Tony Kemp. Astros now with 10 runs on 8 hits. First run allowed by Phil Meyer in his big league debut. Tony Kemp has been on base 3 times. Catcher's interference, a single, and a walk. Stassi now with 22 runs batted in on the season as Kemp pops one up and Butera makes the play right in front of the screen. That'll do it for the 7th, but the Astros add another. It's 10-2.
Chevy Stroh pole. Colin McHugh pitched earlier in this game. Now Tony Sipp is in, but which pitcher has been the biggest surprise out of the Astros bullpen this year? Tony Sipp, no runs in his last 14 appearances, wins at 59%. A couple of good guys coming out of that bullpen, really enhancing the numbers at the Astros bullpen that we showed you early in the game. These guys have done a great job, but here it is. McHugh pitched a couple of innings, did well. Now it's Tony Sipp's turn.
Yeah, Tony has been on a nice run, and he has been getting lefties and righties out. You see his overall numbers on the year. An ERA just a tick above 2. And that hits and walks divided by innings pitched, the whip just a little bit above 1. Those are very solid numbers for the Astros left-hander. He will face the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Royals, Mike Moustakas, Lucas Duda, and Hunter Dozier. Here are your changes for the Astros. Tony Kemp moves to the infield with Marwin Gonzalez leaving the game for a pinch runner. So Tony moves from left to second. Jake Marisnick stays in as the pinch runner. He'll now be in center field. That moves in the Cupid shuffle in the outfield. George Springer to right and Josh Reddick to left. 1-0 pitch is a swing and a miss. Moustakas with a 1-1 count. Astros lead 10-2, trying to increase their lead in the AL West to 4.5 games. When we were talking about the AL West standings earlier, we kind of got cut off there because you started to discuss the Oakland A's, who are now back to 3 games over 500 starting play today. They're trailing to the White Sox today 10-2, but the A's continue to be great as long as they don't play teams within their division.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. But there's separation being created between Los Angeles and Oakland creeping 3 games above 500. You know they'd like to win a couple more games and a little bit more, because every time they go through and end up playing the Houston Astros, they get right back to 500 or lower.
It's unbelievable. The A's the only team in this whole stretch of a month plus that the Astros are playing that are 500 or better. But then the Astros played them and swept them and dropped them below 500 momentarily, and now they're right back above. The Astros will see the A's again before the All-Star break in that last homestand, July 9th through the 12th. Today is game 6 of a 9-game homestand, then on the road for 6 and home for 11 leading into the All-Star break. The Astros will, barring a rainout in Arlington in one of those 2 games, the Astros will have played 99 games going into the All-Star break. Last year they played 89 games going into the break and finished strong on that road trip to Atlanta and Toronto. But 99 is a big number at the break.
Turns into a sprint after that All-Star break. Pretty amazing.
Sid picks up a strikeout of Moustakas, now 1-1 on Lucas Duda. In on the hands, and that hits Duda. He'll go to first base on the hit batter. So after all, we do have a hit by pitch, which is another new scoring mechanism we haven't used yet. HBP is usually the most common, or HP, whichever you prefer.
I'm an HBP guy.
Me too. 1 out, 1 on. Hunter Dozier the batter. Had a lot of good questions on Twitter about our scoring day 2 and on our baseball basics, how to keep score. I had a recent tweet from somebody, Clint, who said that in his little league games his mom sometimes would have the scorebook but have TBV, as Blummer puts in that hit batter, hit by pitch. Clint's mom would put in TBV, which means she didn't see the at bat. She was too busy visiting with the other parents.
That is beautiful.
And believe it or not, there was a major league broadcaster that had a version of that. Phil Rizzuto, New York Yankees broadcaster, occasionally would have a WW in his scorebook.
Wasn't watching.
Wasn't watching. Just didn't know what happened for that particular batter.
That's hilarious.
Ground ball foul.
Well, that's the beauty of the internet now.
Oh yeah, catch up. Well, you used to be able to cheat off your broadcast partner, but Scooter was one of those guys. Wasn't watching. Didn't. His broadcast partner was Bill White. Didn't see it, White.
My bad. You're on your own. So would this be a good time for me to ask you what Moustakas did?
Moose struck out swinging.
Thank you.
Here's a little flare into shallow right. Springer coming on, diving attempt, and it's just beyond him. A chance to make the play at second, and the throw goes wide. George made a great attempt after a little bit of a late start, but couldn't quite come up with that.
Fans here appreciate it, especially the effort. They always do, and that's what the Astros bring more often than not. And again, sometimes you react to the swing a little bit. It looks like he took that one step backwards, but we've also seen him make some miraculous plays in a similar position laying out. It is superhero day, and George is usually making those Superman type plays.
Still had a chance of the force out, but the throw was just yanked. Tough to make an accurate throw off balance from your knees.
It's in the glove, just the impact coming out of the end of the glove.
So now Sip will face the left-hand hitting Ryan Goins. Goins came in last inning defensively. Mondesi moved from second to short. Escobar out of the game, so Goins bats in his place. Yeah, not only do you have the regular scoring of the game today, you have a lot of changes in the lineup.
Oh, it's killing me.
Sip ahead 0-2. Strikeout, a hit batter, and a little looping single in this inning. Now Sip ahead 0-2 on Ryan Goins. Likes that slider when he gets ahead. There it is. He bounces it. It's 1-2. Goins has spent most of his career with the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll see them beginning tomorrow. Jay Happ will pitch tomorrow against the Astros, and Justin Verlander goes for Houston. Toronto currently 35-41 in fourth place in the AL East. This is the edge. It's 2-2. With that little flare hit by Dozier, the hits have caught up to the runs now. Combined 12 hits and 12 runs for the two teams. Astros in front 10-2. There's a ground ball through the hole on the right side. Being held at third will be Duda. And the Royals will have the bases loaded with one out. Not exactly a high exit velocity inning for Kansas City, but they've loaded the bases.
Yeah, typically you'll have, you know, the number here, and then you'll see the guy's name written there. Usually what I do is I'll just cross out the number and then add the second player in here. But what I'll do is I'll say if he came in the fourth inning, I'll put a 4 next to his name, just marking where he came in and where that AB is for substitutions. There's plenty of room on my card, and I think on Todd's card too, to be able to write in the starter and then scratch him out and put in that substitution.
Astros trying to figure out a way to get Abraham Almonte out, batting right-handed for the first time. Almonte rips one to left field. This could be deep enough to score Duda. Reddick makes the catch. Duda rumbles home, and he will slide in safely on the sacrifice fly. So the scoreless streak for Tony Sip, 14 consecutive appearances, comes to a close, and it's now a 10-3 game.
Catch a great ballpark bargain with the Coca-Cola ballpark bundle, which includes a hot dog, ticket, soda, and popcorn for only $20 during select weekday games. Visit astros.com/ballpark bundle for tickets and info.
Two outs, and now Sip will face Drew Butera. Butera reaching on an error his last time up. He's 0 for 3. Fastball for a strike. In the air left field, Reddick has it. And he puts it away. One run scores. It is 10-3 Astros headed to the bottom of the game.
Inning for the Houston Astros, 8 runs, 4 hits, grand slam in there, 3 walks. Got started with Yuli Gurriel hitting that double out there to left field. A couple of base hits behind him, a catcher's interference, which is an error on the catcher. A lot of base runners on. Jose Altuve does a great job with runners in scoring position, driving in a pair himself. Then the big swing of the inning. Yuli Gurriel with bases juiced. Smoking one out of here for a 4-run homer, or more affectionately known as the grand slam.
So a big offensive inning for the Astros to give Garrett Cole an 8-0 lead at that point. It has been all Houston ever since. It's now 10-3 headed to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Top of the order, George Springer looking for his first hit today. Walked his first time up. Soft line drive his second time and strike out at a double play. Good questions. A lot of interaction on Twitter with our Baseball Basics How to Keep Score of a Game. Done this once last year and once this year. We had a lot of requests this year for this show.
Fans are thoroughly enjoying it, and I appreciate the feedback and them watching and scoring along with us.
Scoring 101 tutorial. You can show us the cards at the end of the game. 2 versions of the same game. They look very different. Mine looks like Christmas today because I chose green.
You mix it up.
Oh yeah, different color every game. Keep the plays in green and then the scores in red, so hence the Christmas theme. That one bounces in there. It's 3-2. R. Sal asked a good question. How do you differentiate when there's a pinch runner like Marwin who was on base and then Jake comes in and scores a run? And usually I'll just write Jake off to the side where he pinch runs.
I do the same thing. I put pinch run and then the inning that he came in. It's kind of added that orange highlighter there to show you guys the inning breaks.
Ground ball towards short. Springer is retired. George, the first out of the 8th inning. So the books can look very different, as we have shown you today. That's the book, and then you saw Blummer's right there.
Yeah, Todd keeps his in a spiral-bound book. I used to do that too, but it gets a little daunting and heavy to carry around, and I need to work out more. But I'll keep a 3-ring binder at my house with all of the past score books, scorecards in there, so that we keep track of all that stuff. But it's good to reference back.
It was cool when Garrett pitched that game in Arizona. I think you tweeted out your scorecard.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fans had a big reaction to it, and that was one of the more special games I think I've ever scored or broadcasted.
Yeah, that was unreal. We referenced that game earlier, a 100 score in the Bill James best pitch game of the year by far, better than any of the no-hitters. Alex Bregman down in the count 0-2. Bregman started the game with a little bit of a mustache. Now he's clean shaven. Tries to hold up and he goes around. As a strikeout for Phil Meyer, who's still in there. Bregman's had a frustrating afternoon. Bart, what do you have?
Well, TK, when I asked the fans this question, are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Arkansas, June is your chance to show your spirit. Use hashtag #UltimateSWFanARK on Twitter to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big. You know, guys, as I was talking to that fan, Mike, the last inning, his scorebook was so nice and neat and easy to read. TK, yours is so easy to read. Man, I got to tighten things up. I mean, I get out to the set to do the post-game show sometimes. I look down at my scorecard and I'm like, what did I do here?
Some ancient hieroglyphics.
It is. It's like something you see on a cave wall somewhere.
Well, you got to hook up with Eschenfelder. He has a pretty clean book too. He could help you out.
Yeah, he does. I'm a slob. I'm a scoring slob.
Tough to keep scoring the well and you're roaming around the stadium.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Good point. That's when I have to use the didn't see it.
WW?
Yeah.
Evan Gaddis gets a pinch hit appearance here as the DH for Jose Altuve. Gaddis batting for the first time. Down to the count 0-2. Somebody asked about keeping score on an app. There's a couple of major league announcers that are doing that the last couple of years, where they have their lineups on a computer. I hadn't seen that before, maybe last season.
Yeah, I use my I've thought about it, but I use my computer too much to look up information and keep track of stuff like that. Plus, I actually enjoy keeping score and writing it down. And I don't mind the mistakes. I make plenty of them, so it's no big deal. And we're high-risk scorekeepers. I know that the two radio guys, Robert Ford and Steve Sparks, are pencil scorekeepers.
The worst in that situation, because we both go to the pen, is a late lineup change.
Oh, the worst.
And then you've shifted everybody.
It crushes me when that happens.
It crushes. All these numbers that we work out before the game are in a certain order based on the lineup. And then if someone's a late scratch and it moves 4 or 5 spots in the lineup, it is a disaster. Gaddis with a count of 2-2. Phil Myers done a nice job for Ned Yost in that he has not had to use anybody else in his bullpen. Gaddis sends one deep to left field, and that ball's gone. 11-3 Astros as Evan Gaddis comes through with a pinch hit home run. Number 15 on the year. That matches George Springer for the team lead.
I believe 25 in the month of June. But a hanging breaking ball, and Evan Gaddis gets every bit of it, launching that out of left field over the Crawford boxes here. Never too late to add a little highlighter to the scorebook.
And 25 runs batted in the month of June. He is threatening the team record this month. Jimmy Wynn and Jose Cruz win in 67. Cheo in 84 had 29 in the month of June. So Gaddis not only matches Springer with his 15th home run, he also matches Carlos Correa for the team lead in RBIs with 49. Here's Tyler White. White popped up to third in his lone at bat today. Grounds one, just fouled on the third baseline. Well, you know what happened after the Gaddis home run. We're going to show you on the way to a commercial after this half inning. The big promotion lately, Tony Kemp printing up some t-shirts. Some nice logos there in Hugs for Homers. So we know Kemp found Evan Gaddis after that last home run. 2-1 pitches inside. It's 3-1.
And this is how we score that. Hugs for homers.
Nice. Nothing better than watching Tony Kemp jump on Evan Gaddis and Gaddis barely budging. Charlie Morton will get the ball in the game on Tuesday. And then Dallas Keuchel will wrap up the homestand on Wednesday. Dallas likes that last song played for Yuli Gurriel stepping to the plate. And then Lance McCullers will kick off the road trip. Make a start pretty close to where he grew up. Kick off that 4-game series against Tampa Bay. Quite a day for Yuli. Grand slam and 2 doubles. And he rockets one to center field, but Almonte is there. Yuli hit the ball hard all day long, but he is the final out. Hugs for homers. It's 11-3. by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. We go to the 9th inning on a Sunday at Minute Maid Park. Glad you could join us. Todd Kallish, Jeff Blum, Art Ennis, Kevin Eschenfelder, and our buddy Maddox helping out with the baseball basics, how to keep score today. It's been all Astros since an 8-run second, and now Ken Giles looking for the final 3 outs.
Ken Giles took the loss on the 22nd winning inning, gave up 2 hits, an earned run, also had a strikeout through 16 pitches, making his 29th appearance.
So is Garrett Cole for 5, Colin McHugh for 2. An inning out of Tony Sipp, and now Ken Giles in the 9th facing the number 9 hitter Alberto Mondesi, taking a pitch up high for ball 1. Astros in this game taking over the lead once again for runs scored in the major leagues. Boston had scored 399 runs coming in. The Red Sox scored 5 today in their shutout of the Mariners, so they're at 404. The Astros had scored 398 coming in, and they put up 11, so they're up to 409. So once again, they lead all of baseball in runs scored, and also they lead all of baseball in fewest runs allowed. It's quite a combination as the Astros look for win number 52 on the year. Only one other team has had a better record through 79 games than this current Astros team, and that is last year's squad, which was 53-26. Just 1 game better. Here's a high pop-up. Stassi makes the play. Giles backing him up just in case. Out number 1. On this baseball basics, keeping score. Started traveling with the Astros this year, so they starting to keep score to keep track of where they've been. That's Melissa keeping score of a game in Seattle in April.
Yeah, that's fun. It has been a crazy part of this game with all the position changes, but a great job of keeping track of it. Nicely done.
It's a pretty clean book too.
Yeah, I think AJ was maybe caught wind of this and decided to challenge us a little bit.
She has the same coloring in with the yellow as you do.
Yep,
it's a trend.
I like it. I want the run score to jump at me. It's a little bit easier to count that way for me.
Rosell Herrera bats with 1 out and nobody on. On the ground, Kemp gets a play over at second base and makes it cleanly for out number 2. 2 quick outs here in the 9th inning. Astros 1 out away from improving to 4-2 on this homestand, and also will increase their recent mark to 15 out of 17 wins after that 12-game winning streak came to a close on Tuesday. Here's Alex Gordon. Couple of lefties against the Blue Jays the first 2 games, and then Marco Estrada in the game on Wednesday. Gordon missed that slider that bounced in there. It's 0-2, and now a good crowd, 41,823. It has been a solid homestand for Astros fans filling up Minute Maid Park. And most of this crowd that remains is rising here looking for that final strike. Slicing down the line and into the crowd. One more souvenir for fans in that section. Strikeouts for Astros pitchers today. 8 for Garrett Cole, 2 for Colin McHugh, 1 for Tony Sipp. Giles ahead 0-2. Did Giles throw a changeup, or is that just a slider that backed up?
I think it's a slider that backed up.
I was trying to figure out what that was. I've never seen him throw a changeup. It's all fastball slider. Twins inside at 97. It's 2-2. Gordon 0 for 3 with a walk today. Double play combos had most of the afternoon off, especially the second part of this game. They're ready to go out, get in the handshake line. 3-2. Something that's not moving is missing outside on 86 and 84. I don't know if it's a changeup because he's never thrown one.
Me neither. Got me.
Maybe he's working on something new.
Good time to do it with his score.
Yeah, might as well. Now just go with the fastball. There it is, and Gordon stays alive. Called third strike outside corner, ball game over. Ken Giles picks up a strikeout to end this one. And the Astros take 2 out of 3 against Kansas City after losing the opener 1-0. A run in the 9th and a win in extra innings last night gave them a victory, and today comfortably in front since the second. Garrett Cole now 9-1 on the season. The Astros win 11-3. We will have a lot more coming up, including the post-game show right after this.